welcome from Houchin Smith Stadium in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Graham Doty, Chip Hoback, happy to have you with us for this Conference USA clash between Western Kentucky and Old Dominion. And Chip, huge game tonight for both of these teams. They're both looking for their first Conference USA victory on the season.
And they both played pretty well. They've lost some close games, and they're hoping to turn their seasons around today. And an historic night, too. In the 100th season of Western Kentucky football, this is their 1,000th game.
We'll step aside. Kickoff coming up next from Houchin Smith Stadium.
We are uplifting.
We are strong.
We are authentic. On the field,
In the classroom.
In the community.
it's not just something we do.
It's how we live.
It's our way.
Always pushing one another.
Working towards the same vision.
Stronger together.
This is the CUSA way.
The flat path is easy, but for the inspired, there is a spirit that kindles a desire to climb higher, to soar, to roll, to reach new heights. The wish to be a part of something more, to do more and to be more. Hilltoppers know that life at the top is worth the climb. Climb with us at Western Kentucky University.
We are stronger together.
We push each other to excel.
In the classroom,
On the field. In the community.
Together, we are committed.
Uplifting. Strong.
And authentic.
We are building the next generation. And we are doing it our way. Stronger together.
Working towards the same vision.
this is the CUSA way.
Welcome back to Houchin Smith Stadium. Happy to have you with us tonight. A huge game tonight for both of these teams. Let's take a look at some of the key players tonight. First for the visiting Old Dominion Monarchs. And offensively tonight, Chip, one of the key players, Jonathan Duhart, has been a fantastic wide receiver this season for Old Dominion.
Oh, they've got some deep threats out there, and that's something that Western Kentucky's got to be worried about. Jonathan Duhart, one of the key players there on the offensive side. Explosive plays is the key to the game for Old Dominion on the offensive side.
Defensively for Old Dominion, O'Shane Zimenez has been fantastic, tied for first in the FBS in sacks this season.
And he's probably a late first, early second round NFL draft when that comes up in Nashville this year. And the key for the defense is don't allow explosive plays. They've had that bite them a couple of times.
And for Western Kentucky, you're taking a look at the starting quarterback tonight for the Hilltoppers, Davis Shanley.
Davis Shanley, one of four that has started in that role or played in that role this year. They're hoping to settle that down.
And on defense for Western Kentucky, Drell Green, the birthday boy.
Yeah, he's 22 years old tonight, and they've got to get some turnovers to get this game going.
The kickoff by Alex Ranella, and we're underway as Old Dominion will have the football first, and a great return for the Monarchs out up to the 28-yard line. So this is where we will see this Old Dominion offense, which is averaging 27 points per game and over 400 yards of offense. Blake LaRussa was the National Player of the Week in the victory against Virginia Tech at home back on September 22nd. LaRussa, 5'11 junior, 185 pounds from Virginia Beach, Virginia. We'll start this drive, 1st and 10 from his own 28. Both of these teams are pretty banged up. Starting running back for Old Dominion, Jeremy Cox, is unavailable. He missed last week against Marshall, still dealing with an ankle injury. Eric Megwood is now playing right tackle as well for Old Dominion. as LaRusso will dial one up down the field, and a leaping catch is made around midfield. That is Kashawn Strong, the starting running back tonight, with the catch. Good start for the Monarchs.
And they want to start out throwing the ball to open up the running game, and they come out firing. They've been averaging about 50 passes a game on offense, and they start right out in the air.
From the 49, here's a handoff to Strong, and Strong off that left side works his way in Western Kentucky territory.
When you talk to the Western Kentucky coaches, they're saying that they've got to control the line of scrimmage. They don't want to get that running game going. They want to keep them one-dimensional in the air.
Gain of 2 by Strong. 2nd down and 8 here for Old Dominion. 3 wide here for Blake LaRusso. 2nd in Conference USA this season in passing yards. He will hand it off to Strong again, and Strong picks up maybe a yard to force 3rd and long coming up here for Old Dominion. D'Angelo Malone in on the stop for the Hilltoppers.
And for a lot of offenses, you don't want 3rd and long, but with Old Dominion, the Monarchs love to throw the ball. So, you know, they want to convert on 3rd downs wherever they are on the field.
On the season, Old Dominion 31% dead last in Conference USA in 3rd down conversions. LaRusso on 3rd and 7, slings it near side in traffic, and it's incomplete. Looking for Jonathan Duhart in on the coverage. That's DeAndre Ferris, one of the team captains for the Hilltoppers. 4th and 7.
Well, it's a good start for the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. They want to get on the offensive side of the ball.
Here's Bailey Kate, the junior, averaging 39 yards a punt on the season. Back deep for Western Kentucky, it's Roger Cray, a sophomore. Only 5 returns on the season. Rugby style. Angled towards the corner, takes a hop into the end zone for a touchback. So with 13:02 to play in this opening quarter, Old Dominion got the football to start the game. They punt it. Now we have our first look at this Western Kentucky offense, who on the season is averaging just 18 points per game. That's 125th in the FBS. Big part of that, they've had to play 4 different quarterbacks.
4 different quarterbacks, but they've been in a lot of these games. You know, the Charlotte game was disappointing for them, but, you know, they had the Louisville game in their hands and let it get it away from them. There's 2 or 3 times they've been up big early and lost leads.
So here's Davis Shanley making start number 3 on the season, and he starts it off with a completion for a 1st down. Big play for the Hilltoppers to open the game. That's Jaquez Sloan on the reception, brought down by Pat Toll.
Well, both teams starting out in the air. And a good corner route there. And Jaquez Sloan with the first reception. Good for 20 yards.
That's Lucky Jackson in motion. Here's a handoff up the middle. Solid run for the Hilltoppers. That's Joshua Samuel in on the carry. Samuel, freshman from Greenville, South Carolina, brought down by Tim Ward. And Chip, Joshua Samuel will be a guy that Western Kentucky will have to count on in the running back position tonight, with DeAndre Furby still out unavailable with an injury, as Shanley will throw it in traffic. Looking for Lucky Jackson. It's broken up by Lance Boykin.
Furby's a highly touted running back out of Nashville, went to Innsworth High School, and he's going to be missed. He's quite an athlete.
Hilltoppers have 3rd and 5 on the season for Western Kentucky. 37% 3rd down conversion rate. Shanley with a clean pocket, throws near side, and a catch is made by Jaquez Sloan to move the sticks. Kane Miskell in on the coverage for Old Dominion. This is a Monarch defense, Chip, that has struggled dead last in Conference USA in yards per game, rush yards allowed, and pass yards per game. They give up 522 yards per contest.
And Western Kentucky trying to grab up as many yards as they can early. And looks like they're not having trouble at the quarterback position tonight so far.
Here's a great run on first down for the Hilltoppers. Gino Appleberry, first carry of the night for the freshman from Atlanta, Georgia. It's his longest run of the season.
They got a very young team, and early this week they put Appleberry in there just to make the starting running back a little mad. They said that the starting running back wasn't pass protecting well enough, and so they put Appleberry in there. And so trying to get things going, got a flag out there on this play.
Western Kentucky went with tempo there, went back to Appleberry.
Defense.
Joshua Samuels, the starting tailback that they were.
Distance to the goal. First down.
That's the first penalty of the game, so this will put Western Kentucky in the red zone. Only one time this season have the Hilltoppers scored on their first drive of a game. That was week 2 against Maine, and they scored on their very first play of the game.
That's the way to do it.
I would say so. This is play number 7 of the opening drive of the night for Western Kentucky. It's another handoff. This is Appleberry, works his way inside the 10. Brought down by Kane Miskell.
Appleberry's strong running back. You know, he's not real tall, but you watch him in the end there, he just bowls right over the defensive player coming in there, 5'9", 210.
2 tight end formation here for the Hilltoppers. 2nd and 6. That's Fortenberry in motion. Back on the ground to Appleberry this time, not a lot of room. Brought down by Marcus Haynes for Old Dominion to force 3rd and 6.
Yeah, Marcus Haynes makes a good move, slipping the block inside there. And it's a big 3rd down conversion in the red zone for the Hilltoppers.
Western Kentucky brings in Garland LaFrance, a talented freshman running back. So Shanley is empty set here with under 10 on the play clock. So LaFrance in motion. And Western Kentucky head coach Mike Sanford, he did not like what he saw there with the clock winding down, so he calls his first timeout with 9:48 to play in quarter number 1.
There's also a flag that was thrown. And it wasn't from the back judge.
Wait and see what that is. That's Justin Elliott.
Timeout.
Justin Elliott is our lead official. And there is no flag after the timeout was called. So with the timeout called, we'll take one with them. 3rd and 6 for Western Kentucky when we return. Coming out of the timeout, Western Kentucky goes with a shovel pass to the tight end, Myquan Dean, who bangs his way in the end zone. So Western Kentucky, for the 2nd time this season, marches down the field and scores on their opening drive of the game.
That's big for the hometown crowd. They don't have quite as many people here as they did early in the season, but you know, this is a game that could turn the season around. They wanted to get off with a good start, and driving all the way down the field and getting a touchdown is the way to do it.
Got a player late getting out on the field on the extra point unit for Western Kentucky, as Alex Ranella on to attempt his first extra point of the season, and it's up and it's good. So with 9:42 to play in the first quarter, Western Kentucky leads Old Dominion 7-0 in a huge Conference USA showdown between these two teams who are searching for their first victory on the season. So what stood out to you on that opening drive for the Hilltopper offense?
Well, you know, we thought they were going to try to establish the run game early, and they came out throwing. So that's a little change of pace. And, you know, we were kind of wondering about the quarterback situation. We weren't even sure who was going to start, whether it was going to be Stephen Duncan or Davis Shanley. They've played 4 quarterbacks this year. They come out with Davis Shanley, and he looked great in the first drive. Davis Shanley with 3 out of 4 for 39 yards on that drive.
Tell you who's a happy camper. It's got to be Mike Sanford, Western Kentucky head coach, and now his second season, 7-12 during his time as the head coach for the Hilltoppers. So Western Kentucky in front, 7-0. Timeout call on the field. We'll take one with them. Back with more after this. Assuming kickoff by Alex Ranella. This will be very short and returnable here for Old Dominion. Brought out across the 25, down at the 27. Chilly nights in Bowling Green tonight. Temperatures right now at 61 around the first quarter. It will dip down to the low 30s. Big showdown tonight between these two teams. So here comes the Old Dominion offense. Chip, last time they had it, picked up 1 first down, but were forced to punt later on in their opening drive of the game.
Yeah, and they like to sling it, and we were kind of surprised how many times they ran it on that opening drive. They used Keyshawn Strong in there. 2 attempts, only 3 yards, so he got stuffed up there a little bit, and the Western Kentucky defense is looking pretty good so far tonight.
Old Dominion starting this drive from their own 28 as LaRussa throws to his tight end, Dante Anthony. Anthony down at the 31 where he's tackled by Ben Holt, the sophomore from right here in Bowling Green, former walk-on, earned a scholarship, team captain for the Hilltoppers.
That's quite a story. You'd like to see the local guys do good, you know, walking on and ended up a captain of the team, making a big tackle right there early in the game.
2nd and 6 for Blake LaRussa. He's also a former walk-on himself who has earned a scholarship. Hands it off to Strong, and Strong gets wrangled down across the 35, down at the 36. Jalen George in on the stop. 3rd and short here for Old Dominion.
Well, you know, the Western Kentucky coaches said they got to win the battle up front. And Old Dominion is testing that front line right now with the running game.
Here's Strong. Strong has that first down on the ground for Old Dominion. Nice 3rd down conversion for the Monarchs, their first one in this opening quarter. Brought down by Deontay Ruffin.
You know, in the last 3 games, they've thrown for between 45 and 50 times a game. And so far tonight, they've been trying to establish things on the ground.
Yeah, LaRussa coming off a game a week ago in which he threw for a career high in attempts against Marshall. Looking deep here, will now tuck off and run. A nice room as he gets past the linebacker. Holt slides down in Western Kentucky territory. The official will mark him down at the 40. Well, he is capable of running. He does have 1 rushing touchdown in the season. That time nobody was really open down the field. He said, all right, I'll do it myself. Nice job by LaRussa.
Well, he's got some big weapons down there, and Jonathan Duhart and Travis Fulgham. And so they, Isaiah Harper's also pretty good back there too.
First carry of the night for the freshman Will Knight, who slammed down at the 35 by Masai White. So Will Knight played a good bit a week ago in the game against Marshall, and he will get some looks tonight with Jeremy Cox unavailable for the Monarchs.
They go back to the ground again after that good run. You know, I was talking about they've got those weapons down there, so sometimes when the quarterback scrambles, he's got some openings.
Here's Knight again. Knight inside the 30, dropped at the 28. A first down run by the freshman, Masai White, in on the stop for the Hilltoppers.
Monarchs really moving the ball here. They got a lot of good blocking up front. Leading the play on that one for the Monarchs is Nick Clark with a good block to open up the hole on the side.
Keyshawn Strong back in the game for the Monarchs. Play action for LaRussa, floats one up for Fulgham, who reaches up and comes down with it inside the 4. Deontay Ferris in on the coverage. That's the first catch tonight we've seen from the senior. And that's a new career high for Travis Fulgham.
And watch Fulgham here. He thinks he gets into the end zone because he's laying on top of the Hilltopper as he spins around. He thinks that's a touchdown.
The ball is marked at the 1. Old Dominion in the red zone this season, 80%.
That's the big targets. It's one of the big targets I was talking about just a second ago. And the running game opened up that play.
Strong looking for the equalizer, dives in the end zone for the touchdown. What a drive by Old Dominion.
They come back and answer. Western Kentucky took it all the way down the field and scored. And the Monarchs come back and do the same thing.
6th touchdown of the season for Strong. That is a team high for Old Dominion. Bailey Cade on for the extra point here for Old Dominion. Kick it's up and it is good. So with 5:59 to play in the first quarter, Old Dominion with a 1-yard touchdown run by Kashawn Strong ties the game at 7 apiece. We'll be back with more from Houchin Smith Stadium in Bowling Green, Kentucky right after this. Western Kentucky 7, Old Dominion 7. As we get set for the kickoff from Brad Davis. He has 39 kicks on the season, 17 of those have been touchbacks. Last time this Western Kentucky team had the football, they were able to march down the field. A 9-play, 80-yard drive. That was the longest drive ever for West Kentucky under their head coach Mike Sanford during his head coaching era. As the kickoff will be returnable for the Hilltoppers inside the 5. Looking for room off that right side and dropped at the 28 by Demetrius Stitman. Here comes West Kentucky offensively. So Davis Shanley got the start, the freshman from Duluth, Georgia. And Chip, so far, he's looked very sharp in this opening quarter for the Hilltoppers.
No reason to pull him. And, you know, they've had several quarterback changes this year, but a lot of that's been due to injury. So one of them gets banged up a little bit. The next guy steps
Offside.
up.
Kicking team.
And it hasn't been
Number
because
5.
somebody has been.
5-yard penalty added to the end of the return. First down.
It hasn't been because somebody's been playing bad that much. It's just because, usually
number
because
6.
somebody gets hurt.
There was a penalty on Old Dominion on the kickoff. 5-yard penalty that was accepted by Western Kentucky. So the Hilltoppers have 1st and 10 from their own 34. Appleberry in the backfield. A freshman from Atlanta, Georgia. Gets the carry, and Appleberry finds a seam across midfield, dragging defenders, stopped at the Old Dominion 42. What a run from Gino Appleberry. That's the longest of his career, and West Kentucky wants to go tempo. They go right back to Appleberry, and Appleberry still churning some yards. Dropped at the 36, picks up 6 yards. Jordan Young in on the stop.
One of our keys to the game for Old Dominion was don't give up the big explosive plays. There's a big explosive play from Appleberry.
Shanley to the tight end, Kyle Fortenberry for a first down. Kyle Fortenberry's come on as of late for West Kentucky, a sophomore from Alabama. Now with his 22nd catch of the season, Jordan Young again on the stop for the Monarchs.
Tempo again from Western.
This time Shanley hit and dropped in the backfield. That was the defensive end, Tim Ward, his first sack of the season for the senior from High Point, North Carolina.
He tried to step up in the pocket, but there wasn't a pocket there.
As a team, Old Dominion now with 13 sacks as a defensive unit, but 8.5 of those belonged to O'Shane Zimenez. Haven't called his name yet. Here's a screen called by Pearson, and Pearson dropped inside the 25. Picks up some of those yardage back. Justin Richardson in on the stop. Played a great deal last week for Old Dominion in the game against Marshall. Had 8 tackles.
Here's another big third down play. 3rd and long for the Hilltoppers.
They're 2 for 2 tonight on 3rd down. Old Dominion will blitz. Shanley to the near sideline, a diving catch and falling out of bounds inside the 20 is Pearson, and from the spot chip, he's short.
Yeah, I didn't get quite deep enough before he made the curl. The pass was low into the outside toward the sideline, so he had to go down, and I think Western's going for it.
Well, as a team, Western Kentucky has the fewest made field goals in Conference USA. The field goal kicking unit, it's been an adventure this season. This would be about a 36-yard field goal. It's 4th and 2. And Old Dominion calling for a timeout. Bobby Wilder not very pleased right now. He was screaming at the officials. He wanted that timeout called much earlier. That's the first taken by Old Dominion, stopping the clock with 3:19 to play in the first quarter. Western Kentucky 7, Old Dominion 7. A big 4th and 2 coming up for Western Kentucky when we return. Offense out on the field, going for it on 4th and 2 for Western Kentucky. They're just 2 for 9 this season on 4th down. That's Sloan in motion. It's a handoff to Appleberry, and Appleberry is stopped short of the line to gain, and the Old Dominion defense holds on 4th down as Jordan Young again with a huge hit for the Monarchs.
They watched Jeremy Miser run up through the middle. He went low and got him in the knees and stopped his momentum so the rest of the team could come up and help. That's a big play right there in this ball game. We might make a note of that one later on. We were just talking during the break, what's the over in this game? Well, the Monarchs come up with a big defensive stop there on 4th and 2.
So here comes Blake LaRussa at the controls of this Monarchs offense. LaRussa 3 for 4 so far in this first quarter. Will throw on 1st down, and there is Duhart, who moves the sticks all the way up to the Old Dominion 40. It's the first catch of the game for Duhart. Duhart coming off a game in which he caught a season low as far as yards go last week against Marshall. Snapped his streak of 5 games in a row with 100 yards receiving.
He's going to draw a lot of attention because he's a big threat out there, so they'll double team him a lot of the times.
Back on the ground on 1st down to Strong, and Strong picks up 10 yards. Sean Strong has been fantastic running the football in this first quarter for Old Dominion. Ben Holt with the stop. Here's Strong again, a patient run. Plows his way into Western Kentucky territory.
They're having success with the running game, and they started out, running and passing. There's a good, probably about 50-50 right now, what they've done so far, and it's working for them, keeping the Western Kentucky defense on their heels a little bit.
On 2nd and 6, LaRussa whips one to Travis Foldrum. Again, a 1st down completion. 2nd catch for Travis Foldrum. DeAndre Ferris in on the coverage and stop.
We're going to see a lot of yardage tonight from both of these teams. They like to go up tempo. They do have to stop for substitutions here. Both teams running a couple of different players off the field.
Both teams already over 100 yards of total offense in this first quarter. Back on the ground here is the other freshman we'll get a look at tonight, Isaiah Harper, that's Harper with the carry, tackled by Ben Holt, that's Lala Davis, beg your pardon, with the carry, his first of the Knights.
They've got a lot of weapons out there. That ball came out, but it was after he'd already hit and spun. There you see the ball come loose after he was already down, and here the up tempo again.
Will Knight in the backfield on 2nd and 7. Clean pocket for LaRussa. Far side of the field. This could be dangerous for Fulgham. And Fulgham runs out of bounds inside the 20. He was wide open. Drell Green chases him out of bounds. But you can't give a talented wide receiver like that much room to work with.
Well, Corey and Darden was on him, and he came up there and he tried to make the tackle and went low. And Darden made the great move. Fulgham made the great move to get away from him and made the first guy miss.
Screen to Strong, and Strong tackled from behind at the 14. Brought down by Scaletti. See if Old Dominion wants to get another snap off before this first quarter comes to a conclusion. Here's the freshman at the 5. Brought down by Key, just shy of the goal line.
Flag comes in. Lala Davis looks good. They've got plenty of depth at that tailback position.
Been a pretty clean game as far as penalties go. Only 2 total, both on Old Dominion.
Personal foul. Targeting. Defense. The previous play is under review.
So a targeting has been called by Justin Elliott, and they will review this one. It happened right around the goal line. So that was Lala Davis on the carry.
Well, the guy that made the tackle spun him around, and then somebody else came flying in. And here's the replay. Let's take a look at this. Well, there's a helmet-to-helmet right there. That's the one they're going to call is 31 for the Kentucky Hilltoppers. That's Antoine Kincaid comes in there. Actually, the first tackle was also helmet-to-helmet, but the second guy coming in as he was spinning around. So Antoine Kincaid came in helmet-to-helmet when he was already on his way down. Let's see if they concur with that and send him out of the game. Can't see it from that angle. A lot of people have talked about the targeting rule. Of course, they're trying to keep everybody safe. That's the main thing. Concussion protocol is something that we've learned about in the last few years. But is the penalty of kicking the guy out of the game too severe on the first try, or should they get a warning first? But, you know, the rule is if they call it targeting, here, watch him coming in from 31 there on the other side. Tried to lead with his shoulder, but his helmet does hit him there, so we'll see what they call on that.
Yeah, that is Kincaid, and if it stands, he will be ejected from the game and will not be able to play the second half. So lead official Justin Elliott's still awaiting word.
I want to make sure they get it right. It's big. It's a big call.
After review, there is a personal foul for targeting. Defense, number 31. The penalty is half the distance to the goal. Number 31 is disqualified.
So Kincaid now ejected. That's the first penalty against the Hilltoppers tonight. So the ball is placed at the 1.
Well, you know, Kincaid is not the starter in that position. Drell Green is. So he was in there in relief. It's going to hurt your depth at the cornerback.
So the freshman Will Knight in the backfield. First and goal from the 1 with the clock winding down. Knight searching for his first career touchdown, and he's in the end zone. And Old Dominion takes the lead for the first time tonight.
Well, credit that to the Old Dominion defense, stopping that 4th and 2, giving an opportunity for the drive to come down.
Well, Will Knight had a fantastic high school career. Ran for 6,490 yards in high school. He was his high school's all-time leading rusher. Also had 97 career touchdowns. That's his first in an Old Dominion uniform. As the extra point, it's up, and it is good by Nick Rice. That's the end of the first quarter. Old Dominion leading Western Kentucky 14-7. West Kentucky will be back to work offensively when we return to Houchin Smith Stadium. 14-7 lead for Old Dominion over Western Kentucky as Davis gets set to kick it away. Sloan back deep to return for Western Kentucky as he watches us sail out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Well, Chip, so far both offenses have been able to move the football down the field.
Yeah, we have Old Dominion with 176 total yards, 102 in the air, and Western Kentucky with 113 yards. They're pretty even with the ground attack and the passing attack, but I think we're going to see a lot of yardage tonight. What's the over on this game?
A lot of points so far for sure. Both quarterbacks have been outstanding. Davis Shanley, 6 of 7 through the air, 60 yards and a touchdown. Blake LaRussa, 7 of 8, 102 yards. So here comes Shanley with Samuel in the backfield. And Samuel gets tripped up a yard behind the line of scrimmage. Jeremy Miser in on the stop, the sophomore from Cincinnati.
Miser's quick. He gets outside fast. And the Hilltoppers going up tempo.
They've worked quickly the entire game. This time, quarterback Shanley escaped trouble momentarily. Tackled after a run of about 3 yards by Demetrius Stidman. Stidman, a sophomore from Sulphur, Virginia, walked on, eventually earned a scholarship. Should play a good bit tonight with Lawrence Gardner being banged up as of late for Old Dominion. Missed last week's game.
Another 3rd and long for Western Kentucky.
Monarchs showing blitz. They back off. Let's see if they change what they want to do. It looks like Shanley changes the play at the line with 5 on the play clock. Old Dominion does not blitz. Shanley over the middle, and a first down reception made at the 41 by Lucky Jackson. His first catch of the night.
Air attack looking good for the Hilltoppers. Here you see he's got plenty of time. Great protection up front and an open man across the middle.
Lucky Jackson leads the Hilltoppers in catches and receiving yards. That's LaFrance in motion. Quarterback keeps it and stopped at the line of scrimmage for no gain.
Well, that didn't fool anybody.
That was Zimenez. We touched on him in the opening. It was a monster hit by Zimenez.
Well, you know, one of the keys when you ask the coaches, how do you beat Zimenez because he's so good, potential first-round draft pick in the NFL, and they say, well, we got to run at him.
New quarterback in the game, looking to throw a deep ball down the field, incomplete inside the 15, looking for Sloan. That was Hall in on the coverage. So 2 plays for Thomas.
Well, they bring in Kavaris Thomas for that 1 play. And I don't know what happened on that one, but it's nowhere close to where the receiver was. The receiver turned into the defender on that one because it was so high in the air and thrown way to the inside.
Here's 3rd and 10 for West Kentucky. They converted a 3rd and long moments ago.
And they bring Shanley back in the game for the long 3rd down.
Shanley, good protection. Fires caught by Fortenberry. He gets popped immediately. And that, depending on the spot, it's good for a first down. Davila came up with a big hit.
Kind of makes you wonder if there was just some kind of lapse or why they took Shanley out of the game on that 1 play. Because they bring him right back in, gets another first down.
Flag is thrown.
Sideline warning, Western Kentucky. There's no yardage penalty. First down, Western Kentucky.
So first sideline warning against the Hilltoppers tonight. who have 1st and 10 from the Old Dominion 46.
You see they've got the white area there, and they've got 3 different signal callers that come out to that white area. And if the official is running down, they used to run on the field. Now they run down the white area on the side. And if they run into a coach, that's the sideline.
Wow, how open is Jackson? And he can't come over the catch, and a late flag is thrown. This appears to be pass interference on Jadarian Hall.
And kind of face guarding. You can face guard in college, but you can't hit the guy before the ball gets there. And the amazing thing is, watch the second flag come in. I don't know if the guy's even in the screen. Watch the second flag come in.
Defense.
He threw that from the middle of the field. What an arm
penalty
by the back
automatic
judge.
1st down.
3rd penalty of the night against Old Dominion. That one a costly penalty, which puts it at the Old Dominion 31. So 1st and 10 for the Hilltoppers.
That back judge must have a baseball in that flag. He threw that from the middle of the field. Maybe he's put a little weight in there.
Appleberry, the running back. Shanley, a lot of room off that left side. Throws for Lucky Jackson, and another 1st down for West Kentucky as Jackson stopped at the 15. So the redshirt junior from Lexington, Kentucky, a couple of 1st down catches on this drive, and the Hilltoppers in the red zone. Slings it back to Jackson for a gain of 5. Tackle by Hall out of bounds.
Well, right now, if you're Western Kentucky, why run the ball? I mean, they're having great success through the air. A couple of times they tried to run it. You run into Jimenez in the middle, so why not keep throwing it?
Both tight ends on the field for Western Kentucky. On 2nd and 5. There's a handoff, a lot of room for Appleberry. Appleberry at the 1 just gets nailed out of bounds, and again another late flag is thrown. Davila with a big hit on Appleberry.
Well, that shows you what I know. Give it to Appleberry. I was saying, why not pass the ball? But Appleberry comes in, makes a great play in here.
Number 2, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
Holding wipes out
Repeat
that
second
run.
down.
It was on the wide receiver Sloan.
Yeah, that was right at the end of the play too. He'd already picked up the yardage, so that hurts. Are going to mark it from the spot, so they only lose a couple of yards on that play.
Coming into this game tonight, Western Kentucky dead last in Conference USA in the red zone. They just haven't had a lot of opportunities in the red zone this season. 13 for 18, 72%. Only 10 touchdowns in the red zone. So on 2nd and 7, it's an RPO to the tight end Dean, who already has a touchdown catch tonight, and Dean fights his way down to the 5.
That's enough for another 1st down, so a 1st and goal inside the 5. That's a good fake up the middle. Got a couple of people to bite. Gets it out to the tight end.
Tell you what, Davis Shanley's been awfully good tonight. He's 10 for 12 with a touchdown pass. On 1st and goal, here's Appleberry, and Appleberry stops shy of the goal line.
You know, they kind of put Appleberry in practice this week to motivate the starting tailback, Joshua Samuel, but man, he's looking good out here.
Second and goal, back to Appleberry, plunges in the end zone for a touchdown. His 2nd touchdown of the season.
It's important to answer right now. Old Dominion's been moving the ball well. Western Kentucky's been moving the ball well. They had that 4th and 2 that got stopped. And it's almost like who's going to have the ball last is going to win this game.
Alex Ranella on to attempt the extra points. Adam Kraus, the holder. The kick is up. It's good. So a 9:57 to play in the 2nd quarter. Western Kentucky with a nice answer. A fantastic touchdown drive, finished off by a 1-yard touchdown run by Gino Appleberry. 11 plays, 75 yards, 5 minutes and 3 seconds. Back with more after this. Welcome back to Houchin Smith Stadium, 9:57, second quarter, West Kentucky and Old Dominion. Big game for both of these teams, deadlocked at 14 apiece. Dangerous return man Isaiah Harper across the 30 and knocked out of bounds by the kicker Ranella around the 42. Old Dominion has a pair of really good special teams player. Isaiah Harper was the Conference USA Special Teams Player of the Year last year.
Outside.
He had 3 touchdowns on special
Number
teams.
26. 5-yard penalty added to the end of the return. First down.
Offsides on a kickoff. So that will give Old Dominion 5 more yards to work with. So Blake LaRussa and company trot back out onto the field. LaRussa 7 of 8 through the year, 102 yards. Old Dominion coming into this game tonight, they were averaging 104 yards rushing. They are already sitting at 74 rushing yards.
And we thought they were going to come out slinging it, and but they've established a good ground game as well. Already 350 yards in offense in this game for if you combine the two teams.
LaRussa, here's a long throw and a leaping catch made by Fulgham as he is tripped up inside the 40. A first down reception. Roger Cray in on the stop.
Boy, Cray's got his hands full out there one-on-one with a talented athlete like this, because he's good at making people miss. And he almost gets away from Cray on the catch right here. Fulgham with the move, but Cray hangs on.
4th catch in this first half for Fulgham already, approaching 100 yards receiving from the West Kentucky 39. LaRussa drifts out to the left, puts some touch on it, throws it out of bounds. Tight end Dante Anthony, closest one to it.
Pretty much almost a coverage sack there. There was nowhere to go. Time ran out. The pocket was starting to collapse, so he just throws it away.
Another flag down on the field. Justin Elliott,
Fire to the pass.
official.
Holding. Defense. Number 22. 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Putting on the DB, DeAndre Ferris. That'll be a first down for Old Dominion.
Well, maybe that's why the coverage was so good. He was holding.
Blake LaRussa only had one offer coming out of high school, and it was to Division II Elizabeth City State in North Carolina. Walked on and has found a home at Old Dominion. Timeout taken by Monarchs head coach Bobby Wilder.
Timeout.
Year number 10 now as the
Old
head
Dominion.
coach at Old Dominion,
Their
only
second.
head coach in program history. He's 73 and 43. That's his second timeout. Monarchs have 1 timeout left. So 9:09 to play in the second quarter. Western Kentucky and Old Dominion tied at 14. 1st and 10 for the Monarchs when we come back. Coming out of the timeout, Blake LaRussa hands it off to Strong, and Strong spins forward to the 27. Strong has been really good tonight on the ground. 8 carries already with a touchdown. Has a couple catches as well. Doing a nice job filling in for Jeremy Cox, who's missing his 2nd game in a row due to an ankle injury.
Micah Knight coming up there, making a good stop on the side and coming up from the corner spot. Outside linebacker.
Play action for LaRussa, looking for Duhart, overshoots him. Duhart only 1 catch for 19 yards so far. Leads the Conference USA in catches and receiving yards. The team's starting to focus more and more on Duhart.
Now, he was in single coverage that time and was open. He just missed him. So this is a big play for the Hilltopper defense. And it kind of makes you wonder, you know, this game is going to come down to a couple of defensive stops, because both teams putting up a lot of yards.
Old Dominion 1 for 2 tonight on third down. Monarchs have 3rd and 9. LaRussa fires in traffic, incomplete. Got a Hilltopper down. Looks like Cray, the defensive back, slow to get up for the Hilltoppers.
That was a big play for the Western defense. You know, they saw him coming across the middle, and I think the two Hilltoppers ran into each other, so they got a field goal here. Holding somebody to a field goal in this game is a lot. You're giving up points.
So here's a long field goal attempt, or a 45-yard field goal attempt for Nick Rice. His long this season is 48. Kick is up. He has the leg, and the kick is good. What a kick by the sophomore, Nick Rice. He puts Old Dominion back in front, 17-14.
Now, Rice had a couple blocked earlier this year, and they were talking about changing up just to get somebody higher, but he's the distance kicker.
3-point lead for Old Dominion. We'll be back after this. Brad Davis assuming kickoff. This will be returnable for Sloan. Sloan gets popped at the 25, falls forward to about the 26-27. So here comes West Kentucky offensively tonight. Hilltoppers 175 yards. As the quarterback Davis Shanley got the nod tonight. Shanley only one incompletion. He's 11 for 12 for 116 yards and a touchdown.
So the Hilltopper offense has been stopped once on the 4th and 2. And then now, that's a victory for the Hilltopper defense to hold these guys to a field goal.
Both teams, no issues moving the football in this first half. Here's Davis Shanley. Started the game at Ball State, started last week at Charlotte. Hands it off to Samuel for a gain of 2.
Now, Appleberry's been getting most of the carries out here. Samuel's been a starter for a while. Let's see if he can pick up some running yardage. Only 2 on that play.
Here's the tight end, Dean, and Dean in traffic makes the catch. Dropped at the 34, 2 yards short of the first down. Heaton in on the stop for Old Dominion. Heaton, he had an interception in this game a season ago. These two teams playing on October 20th for the 2nd year in a row. Last year's game was a shootout. West Kentucky went on to win 35-31. 5th meeting all time between these two teams. Western Kentucky 4-0 against Old Dominion. It's 3rd and 2. Hilltoppers 4 for 5 on 3rd down tonight. That's Appleberry in the backfield. 2 on the play clock. Shanley wants a deep ball. He's looking for Sloan, and Sloan can't come up with it. Here's another flag. Justin Noy, the safety, in on the coverage. And this is an Old Dominion defense. They are so beat up, especially in that secondary with injuries.
On a 3rd and short, and they go deep on the corner.
Defense, number 22.
And there's a lot of hands here.
15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Not too many hands out there. It's almost like a back shoulder pass. When the receiver tried to come back, he got grabbed.
This will put the ball at the 49 with under 7 minutes to play in this first half. So after the penalty, that is the 4th one for 49 yards against the Monarchs. Handoff to Samuel. Samuel moves his way to the 43. West Kentucky, that was a focal point coming into this game tonight. Got to run the football to have success against Old Dominion. 70 yards rushing for the Hilltoppers tonight. They go tempo. A lot of room for Samuel. Gets popped at the 30 by Lance Boykin, but he moves the sticks.
And they keep running it right up the middle, right at the strength of the defense. But they're doing a good job up front. They wanted to win the battle of the trenches coming into the game. When you got a guy like Jimenez in there, that's not an easy task.
Yeah, Western Kentucky head coach Mike Sanford said when you have a guy that talented as Jimenez on the defensive end for Old Dominion, sometimes the best thing you got to do, run right at him. So far, Western Kentucky's been able to move the football on the ground, as that time quarterback Shanley kept it for 2.
Shanley trying to slide and got hit. Just kind of looking around to see if there was going to be a flag. He got hit going down to the ground as he was sliding.
Now here's the freshman Kavarius Thomas. Threw one pass earlier. This time he will keep it, and Thomas dropped at the 23 by Sean Carter. So Thomas, he's from Lakeland, Florida, played at Lakeland High School, where he played for a 6A state championship. He's off the field again, but he's the highest ranked recruit ever to sign at Western Kentucky.
Wow. He's a load too. 6'4", 2-something, 250. Not an easy guy to bring down when he starts getting some momentum.
Empty set here for Shanley on 3rd and 5. Shanley scans the field. It's a high throw, and it's incomplete. Looking for Sloan. So it's 4th and 5. Remember, Western Kentucky went for it earlier in the first quarter on 4th and 2.
It's dangerous when you get it high across the middle there, because somebody, once it gets tipped like that, it could be picked off. One of the things that Western did not want to do was they wanted to win the turnover battle, and so far there haven't been any.
So here comes a field goal attempt for Western Kentucky. This is a 41-yard field goal attempt for Alex Ranella. Attempted his first one last week. He missed it from 50 yards, and this one is good. Well, Coach Sanford said the kicking competition is open, and Alex Ranella will now be the guy moving forward, and he drills that one to tie the game at 17.
The Western Kentucky defense holds and makes the Monarchs kick a field goal, and Old Dominion comes back. Their defense holds and forces Western Kentucky to kick a field goal. So they're answering back and forth, and we got a tie ball game.
So we'll keep it here with 4:49 to play in the first half. Both teams have done a nice job to answer one another. That scoring drive, 8 plays, 50 yards. It took 3 minutes and 10 seconds. What's been your biggest takeaway so far in the first half?
Well, both coaches lied. They told us they were going to do one thing and they've done another, which is fine. You know, they're trying to keep things under their hat. This is such a very important game for both of these teams. You know, they're looking for a conference win. The losers, their season's probably done. The winner still has a chance to turn things around for this season. So this is a big, big game for both teams.
It really is. Old Dominion, they'll be happy to head back home. They'll have 3 home games in a row, starting with Middle Tennessee next weekend. It's a very short kick brought in by Harper, and Harper runs up to the 28s, which is where Old Dominion will start this drive with just under 5 minutes left in the first half.
You look at these two programs, Old Dominion doesn't have a lot of legacy because they haven't been around that long. So they've had one coach. You look around this stadium, you see the name Harbaugh up there. You see the name Jimmy Fikes on the field. You know, he was the coach here in the 70s and had a great tradition. You had Brom, you had all these different guys coming through here. A lot of great coaches have Tiger to come through here and moved on. So Western's got a great tradition from the time they were 1AA to now to Division I.
From the 28s, here's Kashawn Strong on the carry, and Strong, here's another late flag. Strong is down at the 31.
The battle of the trenches in there.
Personal foul. Hands to the face. Defense, number 55. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
5th penalty against the Hilltoppers results in a first down for Old Dominion. This will put the ball at their own 46. So here is 1st and 10 for Blake LaRussa. Coming off a game in which he threw Most passes in his career last week in the loss against Marshall. Strong again with a nice cut. He spins, stays on his feet. He's in Western Kentucky territory. Tackled inside the 40 by D'Angelo Malone. How about the junior, Kashawn Strong? He redshirted last year. He's bounced around in his career from wide receiver to running back. Broke his wrist in high school. Kind of carried over to Old Dominion. What a job he's doing tonight. Another handoff to Strong, and Strong down at the 34. Picks up 5 yards on first down. D'Angelo Malone again on the stop.
Well, now it seems like the defenses for both teams are taking up a bend but don't break philosophy.
Lala Davis checks in on 2nd and 6. Speed option, the pitch to Davis. And Davis shakes free momentarily and is still able to pick up 3 yards.
Loose ball.
The ball came out, and Evan Sainer says that he recovered the football, and he did. So Lala Davis had not carried the football since the Virginia Tech game. Coughs it up there, and actually Eli Brown in on the fumble recovery.
Here we go. He makes the cutback, gets away from the first tackler. You can't see it from there when the ball comes out.
So Sainer with the big hit that jarred the ball free. Eli Brown, the Kentucky transfer, with the fumble recovery. First turnover of the game.
Here's a different angle. Let's see if they can come in when they rip that ball loose. That's close. And it doesn't look like it's going to be challenged. So Western Kentucky, one of their keys to the game, win the turnover battle. That's the first turnover in the game.
Shanley throws to the tight end, Dean, and Dean at the 35. Look at Dean go all the way up to the 41. It takes a host of Monarchs to bring him down.
He made a little hesitation there right after he caught the ball, waiting for the blockers to get over. They were coming out on the screen. And when he did that, he picked up a couple of blockers, found the gap, and then he refused to go down.
It's the game high 4th catch for Myquan Dean, already with a touchdown tonight. Under 3 minutes remaining in the first half. Shanley dumps it down to the freshman LaFrance, and LaFrance dropped at the 46 by Demetrius Stitman, the sophomore. Former walk-on. It's a gain of 4.
Well, the Hilltoppers trying to capitalize on the turnover. The only other change of possession that happened earlier in the game is when they didn't get the 4th and 2.
Appleberry on the carry, dropped in midfield. He'll be 2 yards short of the line again. Pat Toll on the tackle.
We'd rather have a 3rd and short than a 3rd and long, so it gives you options.
Hilltoppers aren't in any hurry, are they? You got 2 timeouts to work with. 2 minutes left in the second quarter.
Well, Western already with 139 yards passing, 92 yards on the ground. So they've got a lot of good options here.
Here's Samuel, and Samuel with a first down for the Hilltoppers. Dropped at the Monarch 44. Justin Richardson in on the stop. Now Western Kentucky will go tempo with 140 and counting.
Samuel looks motivated out there. He's got 6 carries for 35 yards now. Just came in during the couple of drives ago.
Down the sideline over the head of Sloan. Incomplete. That stops the clock with 1:29. Rare incompletion for Davis Shanley, only his 3rd tonight.
Davis Shanley seems pretty comfortable in there at quarterback. 14 of 17, 139 yards and a touchdown. And he's got 2 good running backs behind him, Appleberry and Samuel. A good balanced offense for the Hilltoppers tonight.
Rolls out to the left here. Now will take off. Shanley with a first down run as he spun down inside the 35. Momentarily stopping the clock with 1:21. Toll in on the stop for Old Dominion.
Well, they want to score a touchdown, but you definitely need to get the first down, and you probably need another 10 yards to get in the range for the kicker. For Alex Ranella, who drilled one just a little while ago from just about 10 yards from closer than this.
Shanley over the middle. Nice catch made in traffic by the tight end Fortenberry, but a short pickup. Stidman in on the stop. And Western Kentucky will call a timeout. They will have one remaining with 49 seconds left in the first half. Still a lot of time left, Chip, and they can still use the middle of the field with a timeout in their back pocket.
Yeah, you get several plays in 49 seconds if you play wisely, and they still need about 10 yards to get in the range of Alex Ranella to make it comfortable for him. What was his first field goal? 41 yards, I think, something like that. So
right.
They're not far from that now. They need about 10 more yards.
2nd and 8 for Western Kentucky in a game that has been back and forth. Both teams have been able to move the football down the field. Over 200 yards of offense in the first half. 2nd and 8 for the Hilltoppers. This will be the 8th play of the drive. Haven't called Zimenez's name a good bit for Old Dominion.
We talked about him a lot. He hadn't made many tackles yet.
This is about the time where he makes an impact play. It's a screen to the tight end, Dean, and he picks up a block, and Dean inside the 20, shoved out of bounds inside the 15 by Sean Carter, who was moved from safety to linebacker due to the injuries. But Dean is having himself a huge first half for Western Kentucky.
Early in that play, Zimenez was putting pressure on the quarterback. They take it to the other side away from Zimenez, and they get a good pickup and a first down. They're well within field goal range now. Now they're looking for 6.
Shanley will now be an empty set. Old Dominion, all kinds of trouble defensively, getting lined up correctly, and it's a throw to the tight end, Fortenberry, for the touchdown. His 2nd of the season.
Wow, they had options there. 3 receivers shifted out to the left, and they only had 2 defenders on them, and those receivers were waving over there. They wanted the ball. It was a 3-on-2 situation, but instead, 3 receivers to the left, and the tight end just gets deep. There's a broken coverage in the back of the end zone.
It's a 15-yard touchdown pass as the extra point by Ranella. It's up and good. So for the first time since it was 7-0, Western Kentucky back in front 24-17 with 35 seconds remaining in the second quarter. That scoring drive, 9 plays, 71 yards. It took 2 minutes and 47 seconds. And remember, this is a Western Kentucky team that came into this game averaging 18 points per game, 125th in the country. And so far, that hasn't been an issue tonight.
Mike Stanford there, you saw him when you asked him the question, what's the one key thing to the game? And he said, win the battle up front and turnovers. And he threw that turnovers in there at the end, and I think he really thought that his team had the capability of picking off a couple of passes, or in this case, they forced a fumble. That's a big play in this game because they take advantage of that and score.
Yeah, Hilltoppers do cash in after the fumble by Old Dominion with 35 seconds left. So depending on what Harper can do on this return here, Old Dominion may be aggressive with 1 timeout left.
Let's see if they give him a chance to return it. They're going to kick it high and short.
They kick it away from Harper at the 30. So this will stop the clock with 29 seconds at the 32 for Old Dominion with 1 timeout.
Old Dominion has some deep weapons, but you can bet Western Kentucky's going to be playing deep on these guys.
That was Sinclair on the return. So let's see if Bobby Wilder wants to be aggressive or take a knee and go on a halftime, trailing by a touchdown. definitely not taking a knee. On 1st and 10 from their own 33. LaRussa to throw on 1st down. Now he's in trouble. Steps up. He shakes free. He's got some room. Trying to avoid. Picks up a huge block. He has a 1st down. He tried to escape the hands of the nickel Darden. Was able to avoid him. That stops the clock momentarily with 18 seconds after that 14-yard run by LaRussa and a timeout called on the field.
Timeout.
That's the final timeout taken by the Monarchs.
And he almost gets sacked right here, and he breaks away. The pocket collapses. He makes a move outside, breaks a tackle, and gets a couple of good blocks downfield. There's the first one coming over, and here's the second one coming up. He makes a move and gets the block. The bad news is that took a lot of time.
Yeah, that took 11 seconds. So now really you can't use the middle of the field like you would hope to use with no timeouts left and only 18 seconds to work with.
I got a long way to go to get into field goal range.
Yeah, field goal kicker Nick Rice, his season long is 48 yards. It's also his career long.
That means they got to get it down to about the 30-yard line.
LaRussa to the sideline, and a juggling catch is made by Duhart for a gain of 14 yards. Only the 3rd catch, rather that's only the 2nd catch in the 1st half for Duhart.
Duhart's a big weapon. He got open on that one. That's the kind of play they needed. They still need about 15 yards to get into field goal range. And 12 seconds is time. They've got to do it on this play, though.
Can't afford a sack if you're LaRussa, though. LaRussa down the sideline, miscommunication, incomplete.
That was right between 2 open receivers. Both of them were open on the sideline over there, some blown coverage, and he threw it right between the receivers. It looked like they were looking at each other like, I thought you were going to get it.
Yeah, that was Isaiah Harper. Doesn't have a catch in this 1st half. He's had 8 catches in back-to-back games. That would have been a big one.
This has to be a quick hit for about 15 yards and out of bounds. It's got to be on the sideline.
Timeout taken by Western Kentucky. Their second use was
Western Kentucky.
7 seconds left in this 2nd
It'll
quarter.
be 30 seconds.
And Mike Sanford just wants to be sure the defense is on the same page here.
Yeah, when you got weapons and you got a good quarterback, you know, LaRussa, he showed what he could do against Virginia Tech. I want to talk a little bit about that game, the impact that had, because this is a young program, and they're playing one of the top teams in the country, 28-point underdog, something like that. Nobody gave them a chance. And they got ahead late in the game, and not only stayed ahead, but scored an additional touchdown at the end for the biggest win in school history by far, not even close. There was a couple of students in the meal room downstairs. I was asking about it when they were there, and they said, what was it like? So I still can't even hardly talk about it because it was such a big win. Virginia Tech won't take a road trip there anymore.
Yeah, Coach Wilder did tell us on Thursday it's biggest win in program history for Old Dominion. So 2nd and 10 for the Monarchs. LaRussa steps up. This will be the final play of the 1st half, and it ends in a sack by Jawan Jones, his 1st of the season. And the 1st half comes to a conclusion that sees Western Kentucky leading Old Dominion 24-17. Step aside, we'll be back and look at 1st half stats and more when we return to Houchin-Smith Stadium after this. Welcome back to Houchin-Smith Stadium. Halftime in Bowling Green, Kentucky between Western Kentucky and Old Dominion. 24-17 lead for the Hilltoppers over the Monarchs. And Chip, what's your biggest takeaway so far in the 1st half?
Well, bunch of yards from both teams. You know, both offenses are moving the ball well. And then it became a bend but don't break from both teams. And I think the difference in the game, the 7 points right now, is the turnover. They converted on the fumble, moved it down the field, and scored. So it's almost like who's going to have the ball last is who's going to win this game. And both teams are fighting for their seasons. You know, they need a conference win. They've been close in some games they probably could have won, and they didn't pull through. So now is the time in the season where if you lose this game, you're probably done. But you have an opportunity here to turn your season around with a victory. Western Kentucky wants to do it at home. Old Dominion, you know, they beat Virginia Tech, and then they come in here and they say, we got to be able to win one of these games. So this is a real important game for both of these teams. And I'll tell you what, they're going to put up a lot of numbers here tonight.
What do you think will be the biggest keys for both teams in the second half?
I think it's going to come down to turnovers. Like, you know, both teams seem pretty comparable offensively and defensively. Western Kentucky's a very young team. They've got freshmen everywhere playing in this ball game. Very few seniors out there. Old Dominion's a little more seasoned, but, you know, they've got to come through here and win this game. Somebody's got to pick up and win this one.
What are you looking forward to the most in the second half?
You know, I think it's going to be an exciting, fun game to watch because they're going to put up a lot of numbers. We have over 500 yards in total offense when you compare the two teams out here. We have Old Dominion at 240 yards, Western Kentucky with 281 yards. So a bunch of offense, and that's going to continue in the second half.
Western Kentucky in front of Old Dominion at the break, 24-17. Both teams were able to move the ball in the first half. Here's a look at some of the first half highlights.
That's not a first half highlight. It's a halftime highlight right there.
Here we go. Here's Davis Shanley in his third starts of the season. Connects with Sloan, and LaRussa has taken over that starting job, is able to complete it with his tight end, Anthony. Here's the first touchdown of the game. The shovel pass to Myquan Dean. And Lala Davis puts Old Dominion at the doorstep at the 1 yard line. They punch it in. A couple plays later, another quarterback run for Shanley. Here's Kashawn Strong, who's been fantastic running the football tonight for Old Dominion. This is a first down run by the quarterback, LaRussa, with the first half winding down, and Fortenberry with a 15-yard touchdown reception for Western Kentucky to make it a 24-17 lead for the Hilltoppers over Old Dominion.
What'd you notice coming out of the highlights there? It's all offense. The one highlight that we didn't show was the one turnover, but there was a bunch of offense in that first half.
You touched on it earlier. Mike Sanford told us on Thursday the biggest keys for Western Kentucky. He said we have to be +2 in turnovers, and so far they forced 1 turnover and were able to capitalize for a touchdown.
Turned it into 7. That's what he was talking about. So, you know, this is going to be a big offensive explosion here in the second half. I bet you both teams are going to be wide open.
So Western Kentucky holding on to a touchdown lead, 24-17. Both teams searching for the first victory in Conference USA play. Second half just moments away when we return to Bowling Green, Kentucky. Halftime score, 24-17. Western Kentucky leads Old Dominion. Let's take a look at the first half stats. Western Kentucky has 281 total yards of offense, 173 passing, 108 on the ground. Davis Shanley, 17 of 20 for 173 yards and 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. Thomas has checked in a couple different packages. He's thrown once. He's 0 for 1. On the ground rushing, Gino Appleberry has 10 carries, 58 yards, and a touchdown to lead Western Kentucky. Myquan Dean is having a big night catching the football. 5 catches, 53 yards, and a touchdown. Lucky Jackson, the leading receiver on the season, has 3 catches for 37 yards. Old Dominion, 240 total yards of offense, 130 on the ground, rather 110 on the ground, 130 through the air. Blake LaRussa's 9 of 13 for 130. Keyshawn Strong has a team-high 11 carries for 50 yards and a touchdown. Travis Volgram has 4 catches for 66 yards. And Jonathan Duhart has 2 catches for 32 yards in the first half for Old Dominion. 1 turnover. It was a fumble for the Monarchs. Western Kentucky got the football, marched down the field, and were able to score a touchdown to make it 24-17. So after looking at the numbers, anything stand out to you?
Well, it's a pretty even game. If you look at it, it's a lot of offense, and the one big thing that sticks out is the turnover, and that's a key to the game so far. There's a 7-point difference, and it's the score off of the turnover. The only other time was when the Monarchs defense was able to shut down Western Kentucky on a 4th and 2 and get the ball back. You can almost count that as a turnover, but they were knocking on the door just outside of field goal range when that happened.
So Western Kentucky leads Old Dominion at the break, 24-17. Third quarter is coming up next. Western Kentucky leads Old Dominion at halftime, 24-17, as we're just moments away from starting quarter number 3 on the gridiron tonight. But the Western Kentucky Hilltopper basketball team has had a busy week. Hilltopper Hillsteria was on Thursday evening, and earlier today, Rick Stansberry had an open practice for the fans at Diddle Arena. I know you got a chance to go watch that earlier, but basketball season right around the corner.
Hey,
high hopes for Western Kentucky. They were picked preseason tops in Conference USA.
Yeah, you know, we're in Kentucky. We got to talk basketball. And Rick Stansberry, old friend of mine, you know, he's been at Austin Peay, and then he went to Mississippi State and went to Texas A&M, and now they're back here in Kentucky. Rick played at Campbellsville College, and he can recruit. I tell you what, that guy can bring some players. He's got a good team this year. He's feeling pretty comfortable about it. I got to sit there courtside with him and his wife Mia, and it was great to catch up with them. And he's got some talented players in there. Savage, who transferred from Austin Peay over, and a couple other players on the team. He likes to go local, and he brings in some other key players from around the country too. So the Western Kentucky fans are really fired up for basketball season.
And it's approaching quickly. But here, as we get set for the start of the third quarter between Western Kentucky and Old Dominion, Old Dominion will kick it away, so the Hilltoppers will have the football to begin the third quarter, up by a touchdown as Davis will get ready to kick it deep. Sloan will be back deep for Western Kentucky. Both teams searching for their first Conference USA victory of the season. Both of these teams have been so close. Both teams have played in 3 games this season that could have gone the other way. Western Kentucky's lost 3 games this season by 4 points or less. The Hilltoppers could easily be 4-2. And on the flip side, Old Dominion is 0-3 this season in games decided by 1 score or less. Here's the kickoff as Sloan watches it bounce out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. So 1st and 10 for this Western Kentucky offense from their own 25. 281 yards of total offense. Davis Shanley was very sharp in the first half. 17-20 for 173 yards and 2 touchdowns.
The only thing that might cool off these offenses is the weather, because we've seen the wind kick up. Look at the flags in the end zone there. They're just whipping. And there's a cold front coming in here tonight, going to get down into 30s. So it just depends on if that wind is going to affect these passing attacks.
It was 61 degrees at kickoff. It is now under 60 degrees. Western Kentucky will hand it off to Appleberry for a gain of 3 yards on first down.
Yeah, I don't think the temperature is going to bother anybody. Still feels pretty comfortable, although I see a lot of the fans down there with blankets and hoodies over there. They got the bundled up a little bit because that wind is really whipping out there, coming from the north.
On 2nd and 8, play action for Shanley. Finds the tight end Fortenberry with a huge stiff arm and will be knocked out of bounds around the first down marker. And from the spot, he is just short.
Yeah, his foot just hit the white line. He was trying to make a spin move to come back in. And as you see here, he steps out right there, makes the spin move, and had enough after the move for the first down, but he's marked a yard short.
Here's Appleberry, and Appleberry with the first down run for the Hilltoppers. 63 yards rushing on the night for Appleberry, dropped by Sean Carter, the senior, making his 35th career start tonight. Another one of these walk-on guys that earned a scholarship. 1st and 10, here's Appleberry again, and Appleberry picks up 3.
It makes you wonder with that wind. The wind wasn't like that in the first half. It was a little breezy outside earlier, but now it's really kicking up. And I wonder if it's going to make us see more of the ground attack.
Yeah, how much of an impact do you think that'll have on both offenses?
Yeah, you just saw the flags whipping there. I guess it depends on which way you're going. Western Kentucky now going into the teeth of the wind. A little easier to throw it when it's with you.
That's Jackson in motion. It's a handoff to Samuel. Samuel lowers the head, bangs his way to the 44. Brought down by Miskell.
One of the good things that this Western Kentucky offense is doing is they're getting good yardage on first and second down, so they're ending up with third and short, which gives you a lot more options. You can run or pass when you're at third and short.
Very good point, as the Hilltoppers are 6 for 8 tonight on third down. That's Pearson in motion.
Looked like he was going to take a snap.
Shanley instead will throw to him, and it's incomplete, just out of his reach.
He made a motion when he went in motion to go up under center before he cut out.
Here comes the punting unit. Only one punt tonight.
There's actually a frost advisory for the area tonight, but I don't think that's going to happen until well after the game's over.
Let's hope so.
I did bring an extra layer just in case.
Isaiah Harper back deep to return the punt. First punt of the night for Western Kentucky, as Alex Ranella, averaging 37 yards a punt, sends it down to the 32 of Old Dominion. With 12:36 to play in this third quarter, Western Kentucky holding on to a 24-17 lead, and we get our first look at the offense for the Monarchs in the third quarter.
And Old Dominion with a stop.
Timeout call on the field. We'll take one with them. 1st and 10 for Old Dominion when we come back down by a touchdown. 1st and 10 for Old Dominion from their own 32. Play action for LaRussa. LaRussa launches it deep down to Fulgham, who makes the catch and runs out of bounds in Western Kentucky territory at the 44.
You got to watch that guy on every single play, because he can get himself open, and he rarely drops a ball. He dropped one in the Charlotte game, but man, can he catch the ball. He gets wide open here with a nice move to the sideline.
Been big tonight. That's his game high 5th catch, 75 yards. Here's a handoff to the freshman Will Knight, who's gobbled up in the backfield by Ben Holt, a loss of a yard. Going back to Fulgham, though, he has really flipped the switch for Old Dominion. His first 3 games, he only had 5 catches for 64 yards. His last 4, he now has 30 catches for 441 yards and 4 touchdowns during the last 4 games. 2nd and 11. LaRussa goes to Fulgham, and Fulgham dances his way, knocked out of bounds by Devin Key. So bring up 3rd and 4.
Well, we were talking about the wind direction. The wind is at the back of Old Dominion, so the Monarchs are lighting it up in the air. Western Kentucky going the other way had to run the ball, and they were stopped. There you see the Old Glory whipping in the wind.
3rd and 4 for the Monarchs. 1 for 3 tonight. Now here's another conversion for Keshawn Strong, and Key again shoves them out of bounds, as the Monarchs are now in the red zone.
Well, once you start throwing the ball, that opens up the opportunity to run it, and they did a play action on that one. Give the ball to big number 1 and let him cut it outside.
1st and 10, Old Dominion. LaRussa hands it off to Strong, and Strong again breaking tackles inside the 10. What a physical run by Strong. Drell Green in on the stop.
Strong didn't have anything at first. He hesitated a little bit to let the play develop, and then he cut through the hole, and then after that he broke tackles to get inside.
Go back on the ground to Strong. Why not? But this time he is stopped. Loses a yard or 2 to bring up 2nd and goal. Eli Brown, who had the fumble recovery, in the second quarter with the tackle. So Strong runs off the field here as the freshman Will Knight checks in for the Monarchs. Second and goal from the 7. Got the 2 6'3" wide receivers at the bottom of the screen. Here's Knight, and Knight dropped by Ben Holt.
Hilltoppers once again bending, trying not to break. Another crucial third down play coming up here.
Old Dominion 2 for 2 tonight in the red zone. Trying to find some points on third and goal from the 9.
Ben Holt plugging that hole.
Old Dominion keeps it on the ground to Strong, and Strong is dropped by Key at the 3-yard line.
So now what do? 4th and 3, they're going to kick the field goal? Are they going to go for it?
It looks like the offense is staying out on the field. So the Monarchs will go for it. 4th and goal from the 3.
Remember, we talked about a crucial play for Western Kentucky early. They went for a 4th and 2 and didn't get it. The Monarchs 4th and goal from the 3.
So LaRussa will throw on the move, throws it back across his body, and it's broken up. The birthday boy, Drell Green, in on the coverage, was able to swat it away.
But it was Eli Brown coming up the middle, putting the pressure on the quarterback. Look at this. He went to the outside, dove with the quarterback, and then Drell comes over and breaks it up.
So we've seen both teams go for it on 4th down in opponents' territories and come up empty. So Western Kentucky gets the stop on 4th and goal from the 3. Here comes the Hilltopper offense.
Let's see if they can take advantage. When Old Dominion stopped Western Kentucky, they took it down for a score. Western Kentucky starting from their own 3.
Gino Appleberry is the running back. Handoff to Appleberry, and he's stonewalled at the line of scrimmage. Yeah, pushing and shoving going on away from the play. Lucky Jackson having words back and forth with the DB, JoJo Heaton.
Yeah, you got to wonder if the wind is really affecting the play calling out here. You know, that's one where you want to try to get a little breathing room in the end zone, but also a lot of teams like to attack on 1st down when you're that close back.
Another handoff to Appleberry. He's hit hard. No gain. He got popped by Brickhouse. Brickhouse, the backup DB, junior from Virginia Beach, Virginia. First time we've called his name. So bring up 3rd and 10.
So when you've got a 3rd and long and you're throwing the ball into the teeth of the wind, you got to make sure you don't get a floater in there, or you could get it picked off. So if they decide to pass, it kind of makes you wonder what kind of pass they're going to throw.
And Shanley throwing right into the wind.
And it looks like it's 20 miles an hour out there. It's not a subtle wind.
He's in trouble here. A flag is thrown, and Shanley will just get rid of it, and it's dropped by Sloan. But this could be a safety depending on if it's a holding call in the end zone. Sean Carter pleading with the officials, and Sean Carter says this will be a safety.
It's holding.
Holding. Offense, number 61. The foul occurred in the end zone. That results in a safety.
Wow, how about that? So Old Dominion comes up with a huge stop on 3rd down.
Here's the replay. See if we can see who it's on. There it is. You see it. Got up around the neck. So Juwan Rose was putting the pressure on in there. And I think it was Jordan Meredith up there with the hold in the end zone that accounts for the safety.
Monarchs will get the foot. 24-19 lead for Western Kentucky. So Old Dominion gets a huge holding penalty called in the end zone to force a safety. And now here is Isaiah Harper. Dangerous return man. Harper. This will give the Monarchs excellent field position around midfield.
And they're kicking into the teeth of the wind again. A lot of times they'll go with a punter in that situation. They decided to go with the kick, probably because of the wind. Now we get this chance to see the Monarchs offense, see if they're going to throw it again. Western was able to stop them on that last drive at the 3-yard line.
Blake LaRussa, 11 for 16 for 160 yards. Kashon Strong with the start tonight for the Monarchs, 15 carries for 88 yards and a touchdown. From their own 47. Another handoff to Strong, and not much there as he picks up 2. Jalen George in on the stop. Redshirt junior from Atlanta, Georgia, transferred to Western Kentucky after playing junior college football in northeastern Oklahoma A&M.
And the Hilltopper defense didn't get much rest there after making the great stop.
LaRussa with a clean pocket, fires it far side of the field, incomplete. Big hit in the back by Tocorian Darden. He had 10 tackles last week against Charlotte. 3rd and 9 for Old Dominion.
And that ball kind of fluttered a little bit. It looked kind of funny coming out of there. Ended up high, and boy, did the receiver pay for that one.
This is what you've been talking about. This is a tough spot. With the wind howling the way it is on 3rd and 9. LaRussa with a shovel pass to Strong, and Strong will have the first down.
All right, looks like he's a yard short where the mark is from the far side. It looked like he was going to bounce across there, but they marked it short. I can make that pass. 3 yards straight ahead. Backhanded.
So the Monarchs are going for it again on 4th down. They did not convert last time. 4th and less than a yard. And they will throw, and there is a first down for Duhart, who coughs up the football. And the Monarchs say that they recovered.
Oh, now the other officials coming in saying incomplete.
Wow.
That was 4th down, turnover.
That was Drell Green with a fantastic play on defense. Again, looked like another RPO. And Drell Green was able to make the contact, and the ball popped out.
He stripped it, and it looked to me like he had possession. But it's called incomplete instead of the fumble. Either way, Western Kentucky gets the ball.
That's 2 drives in a row where the Hilltopper defense has come up huge.
There's another replay of the fumble, or the incomplete pass, rather.
So Davis Shanley goes back to work, leading 24-19.
We'll see if Western can get some offense going into the win. They haven't been very successful so far in this half.
Shanley hit as he throws, but he puts it on target to his tight end, Myquan Dean. His game-high 6th catch of the game. Davila with the tackle.
Wind didn't bother him on that one. He fired it right in there.
Pretty throw by Shanley.
Up-tempo from the Hilltoppers.
Shanley this time will keep it. Shanley runs out of bounds inside the 25. That's good for a gain of 13 yards. Now this offense starting to click for the Hilltoppers. .5:10 to play in this 3rd quarter. 24-19 lead for Western Kentucky in the 5th meeting all time between these two programs. Shanley finds his tight end, Fortenberry. How big have both tight ends been tonight for the Hilltoppers as Fortenberry picks up 9. Sean Carter and Jordan Young in on the stop.
That's the way to beat the wind. You got to throw it on the line. That was a frozen rope right there. Watch this. Boom. Fortenberry's been a good target for him tonight.
Although on 2nd and a yard, and making the catch and falling down is Sloan, so this will actually be a loss of 2 and make it 3rd and about 3. So big 3rd and 3 coming up for Western Kentucky. Hilltoppers 6 for 9 tonight on 3rd down. Appleberry the back in the backfield on 3rd and 3. It's Dean in motion. Play action. Looks for Dean in the end zone, and it's incomplete.
Well, that was one that was thrown back shoulder, or ended up back shoulder. Not sure if it was thrown back shoulder or if the wind caught it, because he was open in the gap and had to turn around for it. Ended up a little short.
Field goal unit trotting out on the field for Western Kentucky.
And once again, we'll talk about the wind. They're kicking right into the teeth of it. He should have enough leg to get it through there, though.
This is a 33-yard field goal attempt for Ranella. He made one from 41 earlier. Snap is down, the kick is up, and it is good. And now Western Kentucky adds on to their lead, now up by 8, 27-19. With 3:45 to play in quarter number 3. Old Dominion will try to respond when we return. Back after this from Bowling Green.
Applause, everybody, to our winner this green gold game.
3:45, it's the 3rd quarter. Western Kentucky in front of Old Dominion 27-19. So far in this second half, we have a 3-2 score. You know, the World Series is coming up, I should say, right around the corner. The Red Sox have already punched their ticket.
How about those Red Sox? A couple of baseball players from this area playing for the Red Sox.
Here's Harper on their return. Harper picks up a block, and Harper runs out of bounds across the 30. So Old Dominion trying to get back on track offensively here. They've gone for it a couple times on 4th down and just have not been able to capitalize. They'll have 1st and 10 from their own 32. So here comes Blake LaRussa trying to get his talented wide receivers involved. Travis Fulgham has been big. He's got 6 catches for 96 yards. Jonathan Duhart only 2 catches for 32 yards. Coming off a season low, 31 yards receiving a week ago against Marshall. Here's a handoff to Strong, and Strong just falls forward to the 34. Eli Brown, caught his name a lot. Brown in on the stop.
Yeah, he's had a good game, and Western Kentucky's doing a good job, especially here in the second half against the run. They want to make the Monarchs throw the ball. And so far here in the second half, they've done that.
Here's Strong again with a nice cut. Has a 1st down as he was hit by Key. 1st down run by Strong. Had a game earlier this season. He had 4 touchdowns against Florida Atlantic. The 3rd player ever in Old Dominion history to do that. Monarchs go tempo, this time a short pickup, gain of 2 on 1st down.
Well, the strategy comes into effect here too. Down by 8, if they do happen to get down and score a touchdown, they go ahead and go for 2.
Second and 8. I think the biggest thing, they want to get points. Big game on the road for the Monarchs tonight. LaRussa again with a clean pocket, fires incomplete, looking for Strong, and maybe looked like Strong just had problems locating the football.
It got turned around, yeah. He spun around and it looked like it hit him in the chest.
Another third down coming up for Old Dominion, who has struggled tonight, 2 out of 6.
Well, they're getting these 3rd and long situations.
Dead last in Conference USA and converting these. 3rd and 8, LaRussa in trouble, and down he goes. D'Angelo Malone with his 2nd sack of the season.
Now the Western Kentucky defense comes up big. That pocket collapsed early. There's pressure from the left, pressure from the right. They got him by the ankle. They hit him high. They hit him low.
Only the 2nd punt of the night coming up for Old Dominion.
And Jawan Jones had him around the ankle.
Bailey Cade's first punt went for 48 yards, and he avoids the traffic. Wow, and he booms it away. He's kicking with the wind. Takes a hop, and Old Dominion has a chance to down it, and they do at the 1. Unbelievable.
Wow, that was very, very close to going into the end zone. I want to see a replay from the goal line to see if that went in or not. But I tell you what, he's a rugby-style kicker when he wants to be, and that time he had to be because the pressure was coming right up the gut. And he ran around the defender that would have blocked it had he done it traditionally. And watch the bounce. Watch the bounce as it goes right down to the goal line. They throw it back in. Oh, that both players threw it back in. Without it going into the end zone, it broke the plane, but it didn't touch the ground.
Can't do it any better than that. You see how windy it is. They marked the football, and the wind just blew it away. And again, West Kentucky in this 3rd quarter, they are driving straight into this 20-mile-an-hour wind.
Here it comes again. The big hop when it goes down, and watch the players that go down from this angle. It's going to be tough to tell. The first save and the 2nd save. 2 players threw it from in the end zone back, but their feet were still in regulation.
So now they will review this, Justin Elliott, and it has to be overwhelming evidence to overturn this.
Here's another replay down low. He throws it back. And watch the 2nd effort right there. If it didn't touch the ground, he threw it back in. His feet were still okay.
This is a big call coming up here.
Big difference between a touchback and taking the ball on the 1-yard line. Last time they took it from the 3 and ended up with a safety.
Taking a long look at it. With 1:23 to play in the 3rd quarter, and West Kentucky leading 27-19.
It's really tough to see if that ball touched the ground or not. It looked like the player had his hand underneath it and threw it back. And it looked to me like his feet were still in regulation. Here's another look. And this is almost right up from the 20-yard line. So once again, the first guy bats it back right there. And the 2nd guy here, does it touch the ground? He threw it back, and it looked like it bounced just across the goal line.
Well, Justin Elliott just announced that the call is reversed, and it is a touchback.
Big break for Western Kentucky right there. That could have been a tough spot to start from. Much easier into this win, starting from your own 20.
That's the freshman Garland LaFrance in the backfield. Here is a screen to Ja'Cour Pearson, and Pearson down the sideline with a nice jump cut. Tackled from behind at the 40. Well, Coach Sanford did tell us he will have more opportunities for Ja'Cour Pearson, and he makes the most out of that one.
That's a big first down play. Last time when they were at their 3, they ran the ball. This time out from their 20, they throw it, and they're able to get a big gainer out of it. Now they're going to go back 5.
And that was on Pearson. He just made the catch. He was lined up in the slots, and he just wasn't set in time as Western Kentucky attempted to go tempo. 7th penalty of the night against the Hilltoppers for 41 yards.
Here's the ball blowing away again. They put a coin down there to mark it. That's what I usually do on Saturday mornings.
Probably should on a night like tonight. Quarterback keeper for Shanley, and Shanley is dropped at the 39.
Looked like he had something there for a minute, but broke the wrong way.
Ran right into the defender, Pears Gordon. Here's 2nd and 11. Shanley pump fakes over the middle, and it's dropped by Lucky Jackson. It would have been a first down.
It was unlucky for Lucky. Wonder if he got a Mega Millions ticket last night.
Now's the time to get one. 3rd and 11 for Western Kentucky Hilltoppers tonight. 6 out of 10 on 3rd down. Shanley 22 out of 28. 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. Wants a sideline, and Jackson redeems himself. He makes the catch, but he's about 3 yards shy of the line of gain. Heaton shoved Jackson out of bounds.
Well, he had good protection on that. Once again, the route's not deep enough, and he has to come back for the ball as well, and not able to have any room to turn it upfield.
That will be the final play of quarter number 3 that sees Western Kentucky leading 27-19.
And they get to punt with the wind after they flip the field.
4th and 3 for the Hilltoppers when we come back. Alex Ranella will start the 4th quarter with his 2nd punt of the night. His first punt went for 24 yards. A flag is thrown, and this play will be blown dead.
Now, I was curious to see, what was going to happen there, because flipping the field there makes a big difference. He would have been kicking right into the teeth of the wind, and now he's got it at his back.
32, 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
More challenging after that 5-yard penalty against Western Kentucky.
A lot of debris on the field blowing out of the stands.
Please
Hot dog
reset the game
wrappers.
clock to 15 minutes.
A lot of napkins blowing tonight. So this will make it 4th and 8. Ball's pushed back to the 41. Just got word that the wind gust inside the stadium tonight up to 29 miles per hour, to give you an idea of how bad it's been. Harper calls for a fair catch, reels it in at his own 24. There's a great shot. It's a huge impact, especially on the second half tonight.
Well, actually, on that last drive, Western started throwing the ball into the wind a lot more than they did earlier in the half. Earlier, it seemed like they weren't ready to try that out, but the quarterback there, Davis Shanley, was throwing right into the teeth of the wind, was pretty accurate on that last drive.
1st and 10 for the Monarchs from their own 24. One-on-one coverage at the bottom of your screen for LaRusso to work with. And he will throw. Those in traffic, almost intercepted by Ben Holt. He pops up, he looks for the flag. A flag is thrown. The intended target was the running back, Strong.
And was there a little early on his back. I thought that was going to be picked off. And he throws it here. See, the receiver became the defender.
Number 1. Penalties half the distance to the goal.
So it is
Repeat
offensive
first
pass
down.
interference on Strong. And he was really just doing his job. Like you said, he had to turn it to the defender to prevent the interception.
Once again, the back judge hurled that flag about 30 yards.
So this will make it 1st and 22. LaRussa over the middle, drills one in to Jonathan Duhart up to the 26. Deontay Ruffin in on the coverage and stop.
And just about have no choice but throw the ball. They're so deep in their own territory, but he threads the needle and gets it in there.
First catch of the second half for Duhart, his third of the night. That one was good for 15 yards. Here's Strong on the handoff, and he's chopped down at the line of scrimmage by Jalen George.
No gain on the play, and that brings up another 3rd and long situation for the Monarchs. They've had a lot of those here in the second half, and it's not getting much going on the ground.
The only points so far in the second half for Old Dominion, the safety on the holding call in the end zone on Western Kentucky. 3rd and 7. LaRussa with a clean pocket, looks for Fulgham, and he drops it. DeAndre Ferris with the coverage, but that was a pretty catchable ball for Travis Fulgham.
It looks like he's got a little room over there. Good coverage coming in, and he just missed it. I don't think the defender got a hand on it.
3rd punt of the game for Bailey Cates. Watch this one, because he is punting straight into the wind with Roger Cray back deep to return the punt for the Hilltoppers.
It's hard to practice kicking into a 30-mile-an-hour wind because you have to have a 30-mile-an-hour wind.
Rugby style, Hilltoppers went after it, almost got to it. And this will result in excellent field position for Western Kentucky. 1st and 10 coming up from around their own 44.
How did that not get blocked? There were 2 defenders back there with him. He's going with the rugby style. And somehow he kicked it between the 2 guys.
Last 2 punts have been an adventure for Old Dominion. 1st and 10 for Western Kentucky when we come back. First and 10 for West Kentucky. Think Big Red's warm on a night like tonight, as the Hilltoppers will start this drive with a running play to Samuels, dropped by Jordan Young, a gain of 6 on 1st down. (27-19) lead for Western Kentucky.
Big Red's got to be one of the most unique mascots and recognizable mascots in the country.
Absolutely. On 2nd and 4, back on the ground is Samuel, who's tackled awfully close to the 1st down marker by Tim Ward. This will depend on the spot.
Looks like they marked him about a yard short.
Well, we had a lot of points in the first half. Baseball score in the second half, 3-2. Western Kentucky's outscored Old Dominion so far in the second half.
I think you can count the lack of scoring on the weather. It's really changed dramatically from the first half to the second half.
Samuel really tried to lower his head, but Jordan Young had other ideas. What a stick that was by the sophomore linebacker, Jordan Young. Conference USA freshman team a season ago when he had 85 tackles. Big hit there.
He thought he had a hole, and he ran in there, and there was nothing there because Jordan Young filled it up.
So decision time for Mike Samford. Offense is on the field. They're saying, hey, let's go for it. No decision has been made yet.
And it looks like they're bringing out the punting team.
But under 10 on the play clock. And I don't know if they'll have enough time to punt this one away. 5 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Timeout taken by Mike Samford. You could tell he was thinking about it a long time. Do I go for it on 4th and inches or punt it away? It calls a timeout. Now he has a little bit longer to think about it.
The interesting thing about that is if they were able to get the team out there, Old Dominion was swapping their team out as well. They could have maybe gone for it.
We'll find out when we come back. West Kentucky will punt it away on 4th and 1. 3rd punt of the night for Alex Ranella is a very short one, and this will be marked out of bounds around the 30. Let's see where they will spot it.
Well, the wind didn't help him, but neither did the defensive pressure. He had a guy in his face. He had to get rid of the ball, and it made him kick it straight up. You would think that one of the reasons why they would punt that ball is because they got a 30-mile-an-hour wind at their back, and they were going to pin Old Dominion back inside the 10-yard line, but instead they get it 1st and 10 from their own 30.
Old Dominion trying to find a rhythm offensively on this drive for Blake LaRussa. He will hand it off to Strong with a spin move at the 35. 21 carries tonight for Strong, who's now over the century mark. He's been the go-to back tonight. 2nd and 5. Here's another handoff to Strong, who leans forward to the 40 from the spot. That's a 1st down. Darden in on the stop for the Hilltoppers.
And right now, Old Dominion has come out winning the battle up front.
LaRussa will throw on 1st and 10 near side. He completes it to Isaiah Harper. His first catch in the night is good for 6 yards.
Isaiah Harper with a great catch there because he had a defender draped all over him, and the ball was thrown low. He had to go low to get it.
Old Dominion going tempo. Strong with a 1st down run. Crosses midfield. So 1st and 10 for the Monarchs. Good looking drive here with 10:20 to play in the 4th quarter. Trailing by 8. Four wide for LaRussa. LaRussa pump fakes, nailed, loses the football, scooped up by Ben Holt. Ben Holt picks up a block down the sideline, and he tiptoes out of bounds around the 27. Just inches away from a scoop and score.
He had nobody in front of him, and he didn't know where he was on the sideline. It just ran out of bounds. He had nothing but the black end zone. He could see the black end zone in front of him and stepped out. Once again, we talked about it. It was one of the keys to the game was turnovers. LaRussa doesn't see it coming from behind him. And there's the scoop. He makes a move outside and turns his head to see if anybody's coming behind him, and he steps out of bounds.
Last time Old Dominion turned the football over, Western Kentucky was able to punch one in for a touchdown, leading by 8. We'll start this drive from the Old Dominion 28.
Oh, here Ben Holt's going to be thinking about this one for a long time. He turns around to see if anybody's behind him and he just runs out. Oh man.
Here's Shanley, hands it off to LaFrance, who's gobbled up, lost a yard. Zimenez, that's only a 2nd tackle of the night. Zimenez came into this one with a sack in 6 straight games. Western Kentucky's done a nice job to maintain him.
They have. Some of the times they've run it at him and it double teamed him. Other times they've run it to the other side or thrown it to the other side.
Came into this game leading the FBS in sacks with 8.5. He's in trouble here, and Shanley will go down. That time he was brought down by Jeremy Miser, one of the first ones to get to him.
Zimenez was in on that too, coming from the side. He was escaping the blitz. Oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't Zimenez. That was Lance Boyle.
So after the sack, it is 3rd and 21.
Correction, number 2, Tim Ford, is the guy that was coming in there.
Empty set here for Shanley. Shanley pressured again. There's Zimenez, and it's a low throw, incomplete. Appleberry, the intended receiver, so it's 4th and 21. So what looked like excellent field position for Western Kentucky, the Hilltoppers go 3 and out.
Oh, wow. And you know, just looking at thought that was 6, thought that was a scoop at 6, and the offense goes the wrong way with the wind at their back.
So 8:45 remaining in the 4th quarter. 4th punt of the game coming up for Renelia. He handles all kicking duties for Western Kentucky. And it looks like Coach Sanford will call another timeout. This will be the second used by the Hilltoppers.
And it's going to be difficult for him. You know, with this wind, he's going to try to get it inside the 10.
Penalties decline.
Rather, no timeout was called. He was milking the clock, so a delay of game. The penalty is declined. So Western Kentucky is forced to punt from the Old Dominion 39.
Now he's got to gauge this wind and try to get it inside the 10-yard line. He doesn't want to set up a return. He also doesn't want to kick it in the end zone. And with a 30-mile-an-hour wind at your back, that's kind of going to be tough to do. His last punt went straight up.
Daryl Brown, the new return man, as this is sailing into the end zone for a touchback.
He just pooched that. The wind just took it and took it all the way to the back of the end zone.
So 8:39 to play in the fourth quarter. 27-19 lead for West Kentucky. Monarchs with the football when we return. (27-19) lead for West Kentucky. Ben Holtz having himself a big night. 5 tackles, almost had a scoop and score moments ago. LaRussa will throw on first down. He avoids the pressure from Holtz and will run out of bounds at the 27.
And if Holt gets injured, it's from kicking himself.
Yeah, that's a big play to circle for sure.
Oh, wow.
For Old Dominion tonight, they have been able to run the football. Now 168 yards rushing on the ground. That is a season high for them. Their previous season high was 137 in the win against Virginia Tech. Big part of that reason is Kashawn Strong, who has career highs in carries and rushing yards tonight. No gain on that carry. Tackled by Jalen George. It's 3rd and 3.
And you look at their pass attempts, they've only attempted to throw the ball 23 times in the game, and they've been up around 50 the last 3.
Old Dominion tonight, 2 out of 8 on 3rd down. Play action, he wants a sideline, he wants Duhart, and Duhart goes up and snatches it for the first down. Ferris in on the coverage.
Boy, they've got some athletes in these wide receiver positions, and Duhart goes up and snags this one out of the air, gets his foot down and goes out.
1st and 10, Kashawn Strong with another carry, picks up 2. Well, West Kentucky, they've done a nice job to maintain Duhart for the moment. 4 catches for 60 yards. Fulgham has had a big day, 6 catches for 96 yards. Top 2 targets for this Old Dominion offense. Duhart absolutely torched Virginia Tech in the win against the Hokies. He had 3 touchdowns in that game. LaRussa steps up and fires incomplete. Fulgham, closest receiver, and a very late flag is thrown as Ruffin was in on the coverage.
Might have gotten there a little early. I don't think he had the back arm wrapped around. We'll take another look at it and see, but that pass was coming in there, and the contact might have been a little, he was cutting in front of the ball trying to get it in.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 25, 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
On Masai White. 9th penalty of the game on the Hilltoppers. Results in a first down. Ball in Western Kentucky territory for Old Dominion to work with. Blake LaRussa, 15 out of 24 for 202 yards. LaRussa, a long throw. Here Mills, his intended receiver, Fulgham.
Well, you know, one of the reasons why Duhart has been limited a little bit after torching Virginia Tech is because the coverage he's had to face. Has been, you know, they watched that film. We were talking to Stanford. He said, I watched that game a lot, you know, the Virginia Tech game, to learn how to shut down this offense. Because they went off against Virginia Tech. Yeah, 500 yards.
Handoff to Will Knight. Knight dropped by D'Angelo Malone. And another big 3rd down on the way for Old Dominion, 3rd and 8. Monarchs go empty set, 5 wide for LaRussa.
And remember, he's going into the wind. You don't want to float one. You want to throw it on a line.
LaRussa with a soft touch finds his man. This is Harper. Harper at the 10, at the 5, and is stopped by Key at the 2.
They had all the big guys going deep. And Harper cuts across the middle. And he's a lot faster than the guy that was covering him. And again, touchdown saving tackle at the 2.
Strong the back in the backfield. Handoff, Strong in the end zone for the touchdown. Touchdown number 2 tonight for Keshawn Strong. What a career night he's having on the road in Bowling Green. And now the Monarchs find themselves trailing by 2 with 5:40 left in the game. Coach Wilder going for a 2-point conversion attempt.
Now 1 point doesn't do much for you here. May as well go for it.
Timeout taken by Bobby Wilder. First used by Old Dominion. He knows how important this play is coming up.
Yeah, in the pregame, we talked about explosive plays. Bobby Wilder told us that he thought the key was to limit the explosive plays and then have a few of his own, and that would be the key to the game. He just got an explosive play on a 3rd and long.
27-25 Western Kentucky. What are you thinking here for Old Dominion? You've been so good running the football, keep it on the ground or go through the air?
Well, I think it's a good time for a play action. You know, ran it into the end zone right there. We've been thinking they're going to throw the ball all game, and they've really had a lot of good traction here on the ground. So, you know, you got options. That's a good thing. Strong has been really good for him.
Yes, he
has. But
has.
He's got some weapons on the outside, too.
With a pair of 6'3" wide receivers.
I try not to guess what these coaches are going to do because they know a lot more about it than I do.
See what the Monarchs style up here.
They got 4 guys out wide, and they're all good. But they spread things out as well, which could leave a gap for Strong. They're going to throw it.
So LaRussa with time. LaRussa in the end zone, and it is caught to tie the game at 27.
Oh.
Brown with the reception.
And Brown's not the guy that you thought he was going to throw it to. He's got all those weapons out there.
Rather, it was actually Cornell Hendrick with the reception.
I know that's the first time we called his name out there. I don't remember him on the depth chart, and he comes up with a big play.
To tie the game at 27. Unbelievable catch. Unbelievable drive. 8 plays, 80 yards, and it took 2 minutes and 59 seconds. It's the first touchdown we've seen by either team in the second half.
And Hendrick's not listed on the depth chart.
But he comes up with a huge catch to tie the game at 27.
That's a big, big play. That changes the strategy. We're back on. You know, the safety kind of made things different. You know, we were right on track for a tie ball game. The safety kind of messed all that up, and then field goal, and then the 2-point conversion, and here we go.
It's only the 5th catch of the season for Hendrick as the ball falls off the tee for Davis.
To get a holder to come in there. That wind is whipping, the temperature's dropping. And we've got a tie ball game.
A lot of the fans have left too. How much do you think that'll impact Old Dominion?
It's going to impact our viewership. I think they're watching on TV now.
They got 5:40 left in the game. Sloan on the return. Angles to the near side. He hits the seam. This could be a big return for Sloan. Tiptoes out of bounds around midfield. A very late flag is thrown all the way back around the 36.
And once again, he kind of lost his balance and went out of bounds and thought he could have picked up some more room.
During the return, holding, return team, number 47. 10-yard penalty, first down, Western Kentucky.
Western Kentucky. That what a huge one that wipes out the return by Sloan.
Wipes out the return, and then also it wasn't even very close to the play.
Yeah, total opposite side of the field.
Here we go with the replay. He makes a good cut right there, gets a lane. I didn't see it. I was looking in the middle of the field. He did make a cut right there, but it looked like the blocker was in good position. Must have grabbed a jersey.
Well, Western Kentucky just trying to find a rhythm offensively in the fourth quarter. -2 yards of offense.
Wow.
This will help them with a first down run by Gino Appleberry, tackled by Brickhouse. And now here comes the tempo for Davis Shanley. And his head coach, Mike Sanford, in his second season. Appleberry gets driven back by Jordan Young. Jordan Young, we called his name a great deal tonight for the Monarchs. That's his 10th tackle, a game high.
Well, we thought we might see some more passing with the wind at the back, but neither team has really had much success with the wind at their back throwing the ball.
Shanley floats one for Sloan, and Sloan shoved out of bounds in Old Dominion territory by Davila. Nice job by Shanley to read the defense, located Sloan and dropped it into him.
Good protection, steps out of the pocket with a nice touch to get it out there. That's a little scary because when you loft it like that, these guys are pretty quick and can recover, but he got it to his receiver.
Hand off to Samuel. Samuel pops through a hole. Samuel knocked down around the 36. This will depend on the spot. Gain of 9, they'll call it, so second and a yard. So there you see Coach Sanford.
And his 3 signal callers.
Calls the plays. He did say it did take him a little bit to get adjusted from being in the booth to calling plays down on the field.
And you saw one of them blowing in his hands. I don't know if that's a signal or if his hands are cold.
Big run up the middle for Samuel. And Western Kentucky in business here. 1st and 10, under 4 minutes left in the game at the Old Dominion 24.
Here they go with the up-tempo again, try to keep the momentum going.
Same play back to Samuel. Same results in the red zone for the Hilltoppers.
Old Dominion's defense looks a little tired.
Old Dominion was in this situation a week ago in the game against Marshall. They were down by a touchdown with 5 minutes left in the game, and Marshall ripped out 2 long touchdown runs to pull away. Western Kentucky with a football with 3:18 left in the game in a tie ball game.
Once again, the wind blew the ball away before the center could put his hand on it.
Don't see that happen a great deal.
I've seen it about 4 times tonight.
That's what happens when the wind gusts up to 30 miles an hour at the stadium. A first down run for Samuel. 1st and goal for the Hilltoppers. Player down for the Monarchs.
Now Western Kentucky really picked up the running game, and you know, we've had Appleberry been the main back tonight, but here in the second half, Joshua Samuel has come in, and especially on this drive, he's got big holes to run through. The line is doing their job, and he's hitting those holes hard.
The defender is Jordan Young for Old Dominion, and that one hurts because he has the game high in 10 tackles. So 3:03 left in the game. 1st and goal from the 7 for Western Kentucky. Both teams looking for their first Conference USA win on the season.
And it looked like something happened with his finger, and he's in pain on the sideline, and you don't want to lose your top tackler on a key drive. first and goal situation.
Western Kentucky taking their time here, Chip, just watching Coach Sanford relay the play in, coming up to the line of scrimmage with 15 seconds. Don't want to score too quickly, the thinking here for Western Kentucky. Quarterback keeper, and Shanley down at the 2.
Well, you know, when you're going to run, are you going to pass? You fake the run and let your quarterback run around the end. Everybody bid on that fake. They all went to the inside. He had room on the outside. Now they've got a 2nd and goal from the 2.
Joshua Samuel, the back in the backfield.
And we're inside 2 minutes now, so they're eating up some clock as well.
Handoff to Samuel, and Samuel stops for no gain. 3rd and goal from the 2. We have a timeout called by Old Dominion. Monarchs down to the final timeout.
Their 2nd. It'll be 30 seconds.
Those
Please
big
put
holes that we've been seeing
on the game clock. 1-4-1.
Yeah, the big holes we've been seeing just closed up on that play.
So again, huge situation here. 3rd and goal from the 2. Definitely in field goal range. We've seen both teams opt to go for it on 4th and goal or 4th down. But here it's 3rd and goal from the 2. Davis Shanley making his 3rd start of the season. He does have a rushing touchdown. You see the special teams unit getting some extra snaps in, but the way the wind is, you may not want to kick a field goal in this spot.
Well, it'd be at their back. That's the good thing. Here you see the flags whipping in the end zone. The big orange W flag. It's faded a little bit. It's had some wear. It's a proud tradition here at Western Kentucky. But yeah, they want to go ahead and punch this in on 3rd down. They were running some clock on this drive. We got it down to 1:41, and now we got 3rd and goal.
This is Appleberry in the backfield with the 2 tight end set. Handoff to Appleberry with room up the left side, and Appleberry fights his way in the end zone for the go-ahead touchdown with 1:37 left in the game.
They went with the power. They did the shift inside. They had the power on the left side. And Appleberry's been their main horse tonight. And they rode him into the end zone. He gets some blocks, they seal the end, and he takes the last guy himself and powers his way into the end zone.
How about the freshman from Atlanta, Georgia, Gino Appleberry, as the extra point, it's up, it's good. Appleberry, his 2nd touchdown of the night. He's got 18 carries and 80 yards. That was a 10-play, 80-yard drive that took 3 minutes and 55 seconds. Couldn't do it much better than that.
Oh, they got a great drive on that play. All the way down the field. Ate up some clock on the way and scored. You know, Monarchs came in, scored a touchdown, got the 2-point conversion to tie the game. Western needed a good, sustained drive, and they got it.
So coming into the game tonight, Mike Sanford has a new record under his belt. That's the 2nd drive tonight that has been an 80-yard touchdown scoring drive. Western Kentucky had never done that during his time as the head coach for the Hilltoppers, and they've done that twice tonight. So Brown is back deep. Brother Harper's back deep for Old Dominion. Western Kentucky's done a nice job for the moment to keep him in check.
So the tough part for Old Dominion is not only do they have to drive it all the way down the field, but they've got to do it into the wind.
This will be returnable for Harper. The Conference USA Special Teams Player of the Year last year gets popped pretty good as he crosses the 20. They'll mark him down at the 21. Rex Henderson with a big hit on special teams.
He's pretty happy about it, too.
So here's the situation for Old Dominion. The Monarchs have one timeout to work with, and they are going straight into the 30-mile-an-hour wind. So 1st and 10 from their own 21.
And they've been running the ball well in the second half, and they got to air it out.
Blake LaRussa, he was magical against Virginia Tech in the win. Will he have magic up his sleeve here as he dumps it down? This will be a loss of 2. Gage Walker with a nice tackle in open space, a sophomore from Tampa, Florida.
Got to move. Clock's running.
Monarchs have too many men on the field, and this will be a flag.
It looks like he was trying to act like he was running off the field and then stopped at the end line.
False start. Offense, number 19.
Yeah, that was Cornell Hendrick. He had the big catch earlier for the 2-point play to tie the game at 27, and you're absolutely right. He was running all over the place, ran to the sideline, and stopped. But they snapped the football when he was still moving.
I'm not sure if they had too many men on the field or if he was trying to act like he was leaving. You can't act like you're leaving the game and stop. They made that rule several years ago.
So it's 2nd and 16. LaRussa over the middle. A leaping catch made by Duhart. This will bring up 3rd and about 3. Ferris with a stop. 45 seconds. LaRussa surveys the defense, throws in traffic, and it's almost intercepted. It was deflected, and Jarrell Green almost caught it off the deflection. Darden was able to
look at Western's defense. They're very confused. They're running all over the place. There's gaps everywhere, and they still were able to get a little pressure on the quarterback and almost get a pick. That was dangerous because they were not set. They didn't know where they were going, and they still were able to make a play.
So here's the game, and the Monarchs keep it on the ground, and Strong lunges forward for the first down, stopping the clock momentarily with 38 seconds. LaRussa saying, let me clock it, and he does. He almost lost his helmet in the process, it looked like. So 34 seconds left, a timeout remaining for Old Dominion.
Remember, a field goal doesn't help. They've got to score a touchdown. He's got a lot of targets, a lot of good athletes in the wide receiver positions.
5 wide for LaRussa. LaRussa down the field, and what a catch in Western Kentucky territory. First catch of the game for the tight end, Keon White, the freshman from Garner, North Carolina.
Clock's running again.
So 21 seconds left. LaRussa again goes deep, and it is caught at the 15, at the 10, at the 5 with 11 seconds left. Old Dominion has a timeout, and they will take it, as that time it was called by Isaiah Harper.
They were trying to strip the ball.
Old Dominion, their final. It'll be 30 seconds.
That's their last time out. Harper caught the ball, and instead of trying to tackle him, they tried to strip the ball, and he got another 10 yards out of it. I'll tell you, he's got a lot of weapons out there. We've been talking about the wide receivers. And let's look at it here. Harper gets open, makes the catch. Now watch, they try to strip the ball, and he gets another 10 yards out of it. Isaiah Harper, look at the weapons they've got. Isaiah Harper, Jonathan Duhart, Travis Fulgham. They've got a great receiving core. We just saw Keon White, the tight end, catch one deep across the middle. And now they're in scoring territory. Deep in the red zone, 1st and goal from the 6.
That's one-on-one coverage at the bottom on Fulgham. 1st and goal from the 6. Old Dominion down by a touchdown.
They spread it out again. I don't think they want to run the ball.
Here comes the blitz. In the end zone, touchdown! Old Dominion with 9 seconds left in the game.
Wow. What a drive. Let's watch it again. They bring the blitz hard on the outside, and a perfect pass. And Fulgham with the catch. The extra point to tie the game.
Just a slant in the end zone. And now Old Dominion doesn't have enough players out on the field. They have 8 seconds to do this.
They can't call a timeout either.
It's the freshman running out on the field. Now they reset it. And now Mike Sanford is absolutely livid.
You should be. Why would they reset? Why would they reset?
Look at Coach Sanford. There was 4 seconds left, and now West Kentucky calls a timeout.
He wants to talk to the white hat going, why did you reset?
So the player late getting out on the field.
Their second. It'll be 30 seconds.
A tight end was very late getting out on the field.
Look at Sanford. He wants to talk to the white hat, figure out why in the world you'd reset the clock.
You can read his lips. He just said, how in the world?
Well, I mean, they could have taken a penalty and moved it back. You know, delay game penalty moves it back 5, which is not that big a deal unless you're kicking into a 30-mile-an-hour wind, which makes it a big deal. And remember, they changed kickers. Old Dominion, you know, they changed kickers because earlier they had some blocked and one was kicking them too low. So they changed kickers, and he's been effective tonight.
The kicker is the sophomore Nick Rice. Rice has missed 1 extra point this season. He's missed 1 extra point in his career.
He's pretty solid, huh?
This to tie the game at 34.
Well, if he's had many extra points with this much pressure on.
Hold is good by Kate. The kick is up, and it is good. So with 9 seconds left in the game, Old Dominion goes 8 plays, 79 yards, and it took 1 minute and 23 seconds. How about that drive by Blake LaRusso and the Monarch offense?
He's got a lot of weapons at wide receiver, and he used all of them. He spread the wealth around, shared it. And here's the touchdown. Short drop, the pressure was coming, he got rid of it, and the receiver was open.
One-on-one coverage, and Travis Fulgham goes over the century mark with that catch. And he's now called a touchdown in 5 straight games. Unbelievable drive by Old Dominion. With 9 seconds left, West Kentucky has 2 timeouts left to work with. So barring some sort of miracle here, West Kentucky has to bounce back here. This game goes into overtime. So Davis will kick it deep. Sloan the return man for Western Kentucky.
You know, all the fans that left, if Western wins this game, they're going to go, I was there.
Very short, gets hung up in the wind. This could be dangerous.
Oh, wow.
And it's brought in by West Kentucky at the 30. That was awfully close to being recovered by Old Dominion.
That ball got up in the air and stopped. That wind just knocked it straight down.
So Mike Sanford will send the offense on the field here with 2 timeouts to work with. See if he takes a knee to head into overtime or be very aggressive.
Nobody was ready to catch it. That was a live ball. Western's lucky to have possession right there. Defense is playing a little deep.
I would say so. That linebackers aren't as deep as the secondary. Secondary is all the way back at their own 30. It's a handoff with 5 seconds left. Here's from room for LaFrance, and LaFrance is down with 2 seconds left. West Kentucky has a timeout. They will use one remaining for the Hilltoppers. So you're in field or
Timeout.
Hail Mary range
Western
here.
Kentucky, their final. It'll be 30 seconds.
Oh, you can throw it 70 yards with this wind, and you know they don't need 70 yards; they need 60, 55 yards to get to the end zone. So the way these young guys can throw the ball, they can definitely get to the end zone from there.
So 2 seconds left in the fourth quarter. In a game that has been impacted by the wind, the kickoff temperature was 61 degrees, now in the low 40s.
And the trick to this too is you got to protect your quarterback and get him time to wind up and chuck it. They're spreading things out. There's a 4-man rush.
Old Dominion sends Travis Folger back to the goal line to play defense. Over the middle, and it's dropped, and that's how this game will head into overtime. A flag is back around the line of scrimmage, though, at the 40.
Looks like they might have hit the quarterback late. Boy, that's not a wise decision if that's the call.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 17, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. There'll be one untimed down.
And an untimed down play, so they get another shot at it. And it looked like they were getting ready to do a lateral after the catch. Watch Shanley as he gets ready to throw it back, and then he gets pushed in the face
So
after the throw.
Old Dominion also puts Jonathan Duhart in the game as well to play defense. So the ball is now at the 40. We got a late offensive lineman.
They're gonna kick it. It's a 57-yard attempt with a 30-mile-an-hour wind at his back.
And remember, Old Dominion doesn't have any timeouts. So Alex Ranella on to attempt a game-winning field goal. His career long is 50. Kick is up, doesn't have the distance, and we are heading to overtime.
Wow.
What a contest this has been. Tied at 34 after 4 quarters.
The officials looking like, I didn't see a flag, but the official's out there like he's ready to make a call.
The previous play is under review.
So they are reviewing that field goal attempt.
It was definitely short. It bounced at about the goal line. So I don't think they were going to review whether it was good or not. Something else must have happened on the field on an untimed play. What a game, though. These two teams trying to turn their seasons around. There you see the kick is well short. Lands at the base of the K.
Well, Old Dominion, they were definitely playing for the Hail Mary. And then Western Kentucky sent the field goal unit out there, and the Monarchs were in scramble mode.
Now, I don't know what the discussion's about, though. You either throw a penalty or what. I'm not sure what it is. But what a game we've had. I mean, these two teams, once again, there's the field goal attempt. If they got too many players, you just throw a flag.
Looks like that's 10.
After review, it was determined that the defense had 12 members on the field during the live ball. It's a 5-yard penalty for illegal substitution. We'll replay first down.
Yeah, 2 times in a row. Old Dominion with costly penalties, so now the ball is at the 35-yard line, and this will be another field goal attempt coming up here for Western Kentucky.
Now it's a 52-yard attempt. The last time he hit it at the base of the K, so he's 5 yards closer. It didn't look like he caught it, so if he catches it cleanly, this could be within his range.
Alex Ranella for the win. The kick is up, and Old Dominion has a return man back there. This is Harper. Harper at the 25. Harper with some room here. Harper in midfield. Harper at the 30. Can he stay on his feet? Harper at the 15 and is out of bounds, and a flag is down at the 20.
Are we going to have a third untimed down? Or is that a hold? Wow, what a return by Harper. These two teams are both fighting for their first conference win of the season. The officials are huddling over there. There's a flag down on the play. We've had 2 untimed downs. Harper almost returned it 100 yards. And then a flag at the end of the play. And players are scrambling now up and down the sidelines.
Well, right now, Old Dominion is sending out their field goal unit to attempt a game-winning field goal.
Here's the replay. So the kick is well short. Here it goes. Harper gets it a couple of yards deep in the end zone. Looks like he's going to run into his own guy right here. But instead, he breaks a couple of tackles, takes it to the outside, finds some room, gets a block. I don't see what the flag is thrown for. So I didn't see anything in that replay that showed why the flag was thrown. Here comes the official.
During the return of the kick, personal foul, face mask, kicking team, number 77. The penalty is half the distance to the goal from the end of the return. There'll be 1 untimed down. First down, Old Dominion.
Play in a row. We have a penalty with no time left. And so now Old Dominion will kick a field goal from the 8-yard line.
They are going into the wind.
A 25-yard field goal attempt for the win here for the sophomore Nick Rice. He's 1 for 1 tonight. He's good from 45. So Bailey Kate is the holder. Broughton Hatcher is the long snapper, kicking into the win. So Nick Rice for the win. The kick is up, and it's good. And Old Dominion picks up their first conference victory on the season. Are you kidding me?
Oh, what a crazy ending for a game. Wow. 3 untimed downs at the end of regulation with a tie ball game. For a minute there, it looked like Western Kentucky had a chance to win it. And after the great return by Isaiah Harris and a penalty at the end of the play, half the distance to the goal, and here's your game winner.
Nick Rice from 25 yards out.
That's a chip shot for him.
Wow. I'm speechless with how the final 3 untimed downs with a penalty in a row.
I have never seen that. That's amazing.
Old Dominion wins 37-34. So for Chip Hoback, I'm Graham Doty saying so long from West Kentucky, where Old Dominion wins by 3, 37-34. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archive on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.